SpeedSportz Racing Park in Houston. We're set to close out the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series. 9 classes on the ticket, and the Houston Freightliner Western Star Micro Slips will kick us off momentarily. So with the opening ceremonies taken care of, the lights turned on, and it is right at sunset hour here in New Caney, Texas. We get set for the first of 9 main events to go green here. The Micro Slip Division presented by Houston Freightliner and Western Star. The Auction E-Tex Texas Sprint Racing Series comes to a close here in 2022. Aston Wyatt's been on fire tonight here in the Micro Slip Division. He dominated heat number 1, found a bit of a challenge in heat number 2, and it came to his doorstep. He was able to hold on and get a good finish that has put him on the pole. However, to his outside, Paxton Dyson. Standout weekend that has progressed better and better for the Trackside Karting Services Kart Republic driver. He will make up the outside of the opening row. Row 2, Emerson Lane qualified second, ran second in heat number 1, was in the mix in heat number 2. He's got pace to contend aboard that number 50 Bureau Art machine. Row number 2 to the outside, it'll be the number 26 Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart of Alex Chandler, who's set for action and was digging forward with the likes of Paxton Dyson in that second heat race this afternoon. You go further back, Pasha Ali and Kate Casper make up row number 3. Row 4, Pato Medina and Colton Schniegenberg. Liam Nachawati, Aloy Steinbrunner, Kimo Ahmad, Simon Klein, Asher Ludwig, Tanner Borsch, Evan Sepulveda, and Nico Orbezo. We're set for the field. We have a couple scratched off that one. I think about 13 drivers strong, heading out onto the front straightaway to kick off main event action here from Houston. Xander Clements and Riley Gant up here in the booth, and Aston Wyatt leads your field down to turn number 1. Great start for himself and Emerson Lane, and they will bring Kate Casper with them up into third.
Yeah, that inside line had such a great start. You'd love to see that. I know that they were hoping for that as well. It's going according to plan for those guys.
Yeah, great start for them as they head down the back straightaway. So down to turn number 6 on the opening circuit for Aston Wyatt and Emerson Lane. Paxton Dyson getting his elbows out early. He'll get down the inside and take over third. The number 22 machine battling back and forth with Cade Casper. Teammates there. We've got one around at the back of the field. It is one of the OTKs under the Hi-Fi Performance tent. That is the number 11 of Simon Klein. Rolled off 6. Goes for a ride in the spin cycle coming out of the turn 6 hairpin.
Unfortunate start for that race for Simon Klein. He was looking a little promising in the race, made a couple of spots, but it's just a tough start now.
Unfortunate for Simon Klein. Look at this send from Alex Chandler on Kate Casper. A little bit deep, though. Runs wide. Here comes Patricio Medina. Looking to the inside, trying to help Casper.
Oof.
They're door to door down the front straightaway. Chandler on the inside to 1. He'll get closed off. Look at Medina.
Oh, they bumped.
Hip checks there through 3. Back and forth over to 4 and 5. This will give the leaders a big-time lead. And all the while, it sorts out Casper, then Medina, then Chandler. Big-time gap out front as Alex Chandler goes back to work, pulls out a line to try and get Pato into turn number 6. Not close enough. He stays in line as they all run a little bit wide there through the hairpin. Medina on the inside to 7 to block. Here comes the crossovers. Riley over to 8.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they need to stop jockeying around for positions. You know, I know that they want to be as far up as they can, but they also got to understand these leaders are going to start running away with this race, and nobody's going to really have a chance to win it.
Good outside-in move there from Alex Chandler. Great pass on Patricio Medina. He gets by. Medina looks for help from behind, and they'll get single-filed out now through to 13 on the opening circuit.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Chandler, I thought that he was going to do really well in this race. Hasn't started out too well for him. I think that he is more than capable of clawing back those positions and clawing back that time if he's able to work with Paxton Dyson as well, or Kate Casper, I mean.
Look at this, Pato Medina side by side there with the driver behind him. That was going to be going down the inside, Colton Schniegenberg, and he got it. Schniegenberg takes over the position here. Pasha Ali looking on as now Alex Chandler to the bumper, looking on Cade Casper, turn 6. He'll take that spot back as well. And so Alex Chandler's drive forward gets it back up to P4. And behind him, Medina still under heavy fire as he gets by Schniegenberg, brings Ollie with him, trying to fight his way out of the midfield.
Yeah, these guys are really battling right now. It's early on in the race. I mean, there's a lot of time to go, but man, they're saving no time.
It's allowing all the leaders to continue to build a bigger and bigger gap. And while it is a very lengthy main event, it's lengthy for everybody. So you got to have a lot of speed to kind of hunt down the top 3 drivers at this point. We'll see what Alex Chandler can do as we watch Colton Schniegenberg trailing Pasha Ali's number 42 Parolin exiting onto the front straightaway.
I mean, as well. I mean, you don't run out of your energy too. I mean, it's easy to get tired, especially with the weather and the length of this race. You know, these kids are going to get a little tired. We're battling after lap after lap.
So there they go, through 3, over to 4 and 5. And we'll give you the first kind of look at where the top 10 stacks. Aston Wyatt's already pulling away, 1.1 seconds up on Emerson Lane, and a healthy lead here in this 18 minutes plus 2 laps main event. Add 6 extra minutes, roughly 6 to 7 laps per class from where they ran in the pre-final. So we're looking at 20 lap plus main events for these kids here under the lights. A lot of time again, but also a lot of time for Aston Wyatt to build the margin up. If that pace isn't beat by anybody else, this could be a runaway already.
Yeah, it's looking just like it was in that first heat yesterday. I mean, Aston Wyatt and Emerson Lane 1-2, and they were just hauling away. They were walking it.
Yeah, they've been looking really good under the lights, both of them. Alex Chandler, again, just kind of got mired in traffic in those first couple laps. Emerson Lane, quick look over the shoulder. Paxton Dyson, the next driver in line. What does he do across the line? Now he loses about a half-tenth to Lane, and both of them 6/10 the better for Aston Wyatt over the second and third place drivers.
Yeah, looks like they got the tire pressure set pretty high. I mean, he came in super fast, which is exactly what you really needed. You want to get away from all the chaos around you. So good job by them.
We'll see how they do as Paxton Dyson tucks his head behind the wheel, heads down the back straightaway, trying to close up to Emerson Lane and at least making a little bit of a fight there for second. He trails by about 9/10 as of last time by. 2.6 seconds out of the lead and losing more ground as Aston Wyatt continues to put his head down and put down some real quick lap times. At the moment, he is the only driver in that 59-second bracket, 7 minutes in so far.
And I think Dyson has the speed too. I think this is like one of the first times we've ever really seen him having to run in clean air. You know, and I'm interested to see how he's able to deal with that. You know, see what his true speed is.
Here's a look further back down the order on the field. Cade Casper has been reeled in by Patricio Medina in that middle grouping with Pasha Ali, Colton Schniekenberg, as well as Liam Nachawati in tow. So we've talked about Pato Medina and his very impressive racecraft over the course of this weekend. How long does it take him to get around Cade Casper? And again, Alex Chandler, with all the pace he had earlier in the day, you'd think he'd be running away from this pack. He's not too much either. Pato Medina's group looking pretty racy as they put the bumper to Cade Casper and give him a little shot down the end of the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, Pato Medina, his racecraft has been going really well. Just like you said, he's always been picking the right places and hasn't really made any like overzealous moves into anybody.
No, but he's definitely been aggressive when he needs to be. So when does he pull the trigger on Cade Casper? Right now, he's happy to push him. Headed into the turn 11 complex. No change over here. And again, just at the edge of the frame in a few of these shots is Alex Chandler aboard that silver, black, and red Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart. Just out of this Trackside Karting Services, Kart Republic, and then Pato Medina, that red, fully redded out Tony Kart machine exiting the final hairpin.
Yeah, Alex Chandler is on the move now. He really needs to get going to catch up to Paxton Dyson. I think that if Dyson and Emerson Lane end up getting linked up, then you know there could be a little bit of battling and allow Chandler to catch up.
Oh no, Pato Medina and Pasha Ali. Big contact there going into turn number 4. Pato Medina got knocked off, it kind of bounced off the rear bumper of Cade Casper going into the hairpin, got sideways, and Pasha Ali, obviously disappointed there, was just following an innocent bystander as the two, just a little racing incident, kind of an accordion effect. He gets the worst out of it, gets popped into the air, and he'll have a DNF on his main event result. Obviously an unfortunate way to end the State Series season.
Yeah, it sucks for Mr. Pato Medina. I mean, we were just talking about how good he was been doing. It's unfortunate that things like that do happen in racing.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for Pato Medina to lose a little bit, and especially for Pasha Ali, obviously, to get his race sent to the rear. It gives Cade Casper a little bit of breathing room. And again, talking about breathing room, this kid's got a lot of it. Aston Wyatt's already 3.6 seconds out in front here. We're not even to halfway yet in this main event.
Yeah, man, he's just in a league of his own. He's just been walking it. I mean, his times have just been so consistent and so much faster than everybody else. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not really even a challenge for him right now.
He is wicked fast. Now back for second and third. Paxton Dyson is closing up on Emerson Lane, and even further back, here's Cade Casper getting caught by Colton Schniegenberg. He'll go by. Leo Nachawati tried to follow. Casper answers back, gets Nachawati, and so they go side by side over to turn number 8. Looking for a crossover. Can he get it on Casper? They're wheel to wheel.
Oh,
Sparks flying. Liam Nachawati gets through.
I think they're both lucky that there wasn't a spin or somebody didn't drop a wheel or anything. That was quite hairy right there.
Yeah, that's a tricky spot to go side by side. That track gets really narrow there coming out of turn number 9.
Oh, for sure. Like when you're coming out of there full speed, like the track just narrows up so quick. I mean, you see the exit, split second, and it's so easy to drop a wheel there.
Super tricky stuff there as the leaders come onto the front straightaway here. Colton Schniegenberg, Liam Nachawati, right in the middle of the group, 5th and 6th, both of them up 3 spots. Now, they are a good ways back still from Alex Chandler and have not had the pace to run him down or be at the level of Paxton Dyson or Emerson Lane, but they're at least having some good laps together as we go to pick up the group for second and third. Here is a look at Paxton Dyson just inching his way closer and closer to Emerson Lane. Been about a half-tenth to a couple hundredths every lap, knocking that gap from a little over a second down to 0.8 as of last time by.
Yeah, I mean, just little by little. I mean, Paxton Dyson just lost a little bit of time that time. Maybe had a little bit of a mistake, but now he's going to start getting that sniff of that draft, and maybe he'll be able to come up a lot quicker now.
Yeah, we'll see if that draft does accelerate it. It's done it for many already this weekend. Only 5 or 6 cars back to start this next lap. It looks like a really good one here for Dyson. Across the line, his personal best of the session, a 1 minute flat, picks up another 0.2. Make it 0.6 the difference here from second to third.
Yeah, it's going to start getting real close between Dyson and Emerson Lane. I think it's going to be a really interesting race there. I mean, I know that they're both fighting for that second place, and it's basically a fighting for the win because no one even knows where Aston Wyatt is now.
He is long gone. 5 seconds up the road from second and third. Here's a little further back down the order, back to Schniegenberg and Liam Nachawati. Not sure what happened to Cade Casper. He has lost touch with these two. I don't know if he got together or made a mistake, but Casper is nowhere to be found in this little duo as we check back in on them back in that 5th and 6th position. So problems for Cade Casper in the 55.
That's a shame for him. He's had such a good weekend so far. I mean, I was hoping to see him up towards the front, and hopefully, this big pack would fight for the win, but obviously that's not the case now.
Definitely not here. What was the summer Texas heat that kind of got everybody amped up, it seemed, in that second round of heat races. Finally cooling off a little bit. Sun down behind the horizon. We got the lights on. Cool little shot again for all the micro drivers to run right at dusk, and as it slowly starts to get dark, the day to night transition during their main event. Super cool, the timing of how everything's worked out, but like you said, it's definitely not been a big lead pack with a lot of kids we were hoping to see up at the front of it. It has been spread apart, this entire main event. Paxton Dyson right now, the only one really making a whole lot of waves and excitement as he has fully locked onto the rear bumper of Emerson Lane in the battle for the final 2 podium spots.
Yeah, great drive from Paxton Dyson so far. I mean, he's really just clawed his way up there, and I think he's going to bring a really good challenge over to Emerson Lane. It's going to be a good fight there.
So let's see if he can get up to him into turn number 11. Right there, knocking on the door. Little past halfway. Got about 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go here in the main event for the micro slips presented by Houston Freightliner Western Star. Little mistake there for Paxton Dyson. Just kind of got caught off guard by Emerson Lane going through the kink at turn 13. He's still relatively close enough, a car length back at the end of the lap.
I'm wondering if Paxton's going to stay behind Emerson at all. I mean, he caught him pretty quickly. Maybe he could pull away, but I think it's going to be real tough to make that pass early on. I think he needs to wait just a little bit.
Yeah, and again, kind of stalking your prey. He can learn a little bit of where will be the opportune time to pass, because if you go instantly, you don't really know where is the best place to go. You always want to pass right before you come to a section of the racetrack where you are faster than the driver in front, so you can build a gap and they can't instantly challenge you back. If you get in front of someone, you go slower than they do or than they're wanting to go, they're going to want to find a way around you instantly and think that maybe you just got a draft to get by you. So you got to be strategic with the move. And in this case here for Paxton Dyson, he can take all the time in the world because neither one of them, lap time wise or time remaining in the race, have really a chance at the race leader Aston Wyatt. 7 seconds out in front here with just a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go as well. I mean, yeah, I think that Paxton's just going to stay behind and just bide his time until the last lap. It's going to be really exciting for this battle for P2.
Yeah, it should be a good fight here. Like you said, plenty of time left. Not a ton to run down a 7-second gap, but more than enough for Paxton Dyson to take his time working on the rear bumper of Emerson Lane and just pushing for a little bit right there. Decide when he wants to push and go through for the lead. Here he goes. Here he comes, looking inside turn 6. Second, make it clear. Paxton Dyson is a spot higher on the box. A great run for the young driver.
That's a great move for Alex Chandler as well. I mean, if they keep battling like this, which I'm going to assume that they will, it's going to look real good. I think it's going to bring Chandler up into this fight.
It would if Chandler hadn't fallen back as far as he had. He is over 6 seconds away from the second and third battle, so they'll have to battle quite a bit, unfortunately, to bring him in. He just did his best lap of the session last time by, still 2/10 slower than Lane and Dyson. So Alex Chandler, a lot of speed during the afternoon, not so much here under the lights.
Yeah, the track is just completely different now. Once that sun goes away, it's basically a completely different circuit. I mean, that surface is just reacting so much differently. It's way less greasy. There's so much grip on the track now. I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
And the engines are running at completely different air temperatures as well, right? Not only does it make a big difference on where you want to set tire pressure, how you drive it, the grip that you have when it's that much cooler, but the engines run a little bit better. Your carburation might be a touch off, where you're trying to shoot for the prime and peak performance and all that. Again, just kind of all comes together, and that's why we've seen some drivers look like they were really promising in Heat 2 that were nowhere to be found last night in the opening round of Heat races. So Heat number 1, a little more telling of probably who we'll see battling for the win here this evening in the main events as we run all the way into 11 p.m. local time, midnight Eastern time, when that final main event for KA Senior presented by Exertech hits the racetrack.
I mean, looking back to the field, I mean, Liam Nachawati is up 3 spots, and Coach Schniegerberg is well up 3 spots. So they're having a good run so far. I mean, good for those guys.
Here they go down the front straightaway towards turns 1, 2, and 3, and they'll work their way on in to the S's once again. We've got 14 laps in the books, 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Still another 4 laps or so remaining in this main event. So pushing up to about an 18-lap feature race, more or less, as down to turn number 6 we go with Paxton Dyson pulling a couple car lengths away from Emerson Lane. He's broken away just a touch from the number 50 Bureau Art driver. So that's going to, again, give him a little more confidence going into the final few laps. You get like a 2 to 3 car length cushion, you can run the normal line. That's going to be too far back, especially in these lower horsepower karts with shorter braking zones, to force a dive bomb move on you.
For sure. I mean, defending won't really do much now. I mean, I think that I don't think there's any really challenge from behind or in front either. So really, it's just like these two guys are on their own track. They're just going to keep fighting amongst themselves.
And then you look down the leaderboard again. Alex Chandler running by his lonesome there in 4th. Colton Schniegenberg, Liam Nachawati, they're still having a little fight for the 5th spot. So that'll be a battle going down to the very end as we pick up. There goes across the line your race leader of Aston Wyatt. Here's second. That was 4th. There, Alex Chandler going by. Here is 5th and 6th. Schniegenberg and Nachawati going to 2, 3, and 4. So they'll have a little two-way duel in the final couple laps, it seems, as well.
Yeah, I mean, Schniegenberg being a young boy, and I know that Nachawati is going to want to get past him as well. I mean, Nachawati's just been sitting behind. I'm sure that there's going to be a move later on here in the race.
So there they go on into turn number 6 here. Schniegenberg tapping his helmet to push him. Not like it'll make much of a difference. Again, they're a good ways back from Alex Chandler, about 6 seconds, 5.5 more or less as of last time by. So not really any shot at getting up a spot higher. And they don't really got anything to worry about out back either. Pato Medina's about 6.5 seconds back. Then you got Aloy Steinbrunner and Kimo Ahmad and Simon Klein. We lost Pasha Ali early on. We lost Kate Casper, unknown to us, so where we missed the number 55, but caught Pasha Ali's gnarly crash down by turn number 4.
I mean, it really seems like everybody's really just running a really lonely race tonight. I mean, they were all battling as really hard here in the beginning, the opening couple laps, but you can see now that effect that it has on the rest of the field.
I believe we'll get the 2 to go signal next time by for the leader, Aston Wyatt. He's done a phenomenal job here this evening. Done a great job all weekend long. Kept himself in the fight in that afternoon heat race where he lacked a little bit of pace compared to the edge he's had over the field at night. Last night, obviously, dominant heat race win. Tonight, the main event looking to be even bigger. The number 21 headed to the final corner. He'll see the double sticks for the final time in the 2022 season. Aston Wyatt headed here to see the white and black flags to let him know 2 laps to go.
Yeah, he just got to keep it calm now. All he has to do is just keep it on the track. You can take a little parade lap maybe for that white flag.
Yeah, you can take it easy all the way through. He could almost coast to the start-finish line after the final corner. Going into this weekend again in the micro division, Paxton Dyson entered the weekend as the championship leader. Prior to drops factored in, Colton Schneegenberg second, Aston Wyatt 171 back. Well, you can't ask for a whole lot more than getting maximum points as he works his way through lap traffic now towards the back of the field, through turn 8, through turn 9. No problems for the number 21. He'll get by them. And again, championship points, they're going to fall where they fall. But for Aston Wyatt on home turf, and then Alan Rudolph Racing Academy Bureau Art looking phenomenal here under the lights. And he has got this race lights out, really, from start to finish. White flag coming this time by.
Absolutely. I mean, he has just really done everything that he's never needed to do for that championship fight. You know, he's just been winning every race, driving as best he can, and really has done a great job this weekend.
And behind him, of course, Paxton Dyson into second. Right now in the driver's seat for the championship. I believe with the way the points should fall, it would go the way of Paxton Dyson to become a Texas State champion, Texas Sprint Series regional champion for the very first time. You look further back, there's that lapper group. Here we'll pick up the group for second and third in just a moment, trying to find them. Our camera's trying to search for where Paxton Dyson is. There he is down the back straightaway, headed into turn number 6. Again, great run, and you can see Emerson Lane a little bit too far back in that shot to keep an eye on him. But it's all about this kid here this evening. Paxton Dyson might be on the verge of a championship. Aston Wyatt's on the verge of a darn near perfect weekend. Did everything he needed to do. Qualified on the pole. Dominated the opening heat race. Stayed up front. Led the most laps in Heat 2. Ran up front. And you can already see a little celebration as he enters the hairpin for the final time. Aston Wyatt will become the first main event winner of 9 here tonight. He wins under the lights here at SpeedSportz. And back behind him, we'll pick up where everyone else files in. Paxton Dyson, second place here in the main. That should clinch the Texas Sprint Series title, I believe, for Paxton. And you go further back down the order, the rest of the battles. Alex Chandler comes across the line fourth after digging through the field in his heat races. Solid runs. Liam Nachawati fifth. Colton Schneegenberg ends in sixth. Pato Medina crosses the line in seventh. Kimo Ahmad, Aloy Steinbrunner, and Simon Klein are all spread apart, but they were the lappers there at the end. They end 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, with Klein rounding off the top 10. And just like that, one main event in the books here. A little bit of cleanup to be doing. We'll take a quick break on the air. We'll come back with main event number 2. Helix Electric Honda Kit Kart coming your way.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Well, we're set to close out the season. Just did it in one division. We've got 8 more coming your way here this evening. Kicking off the second group on the order is Helix Electric Honda Kit Karts, as they will make their way over to our race official and come to a stop to get fully grouped up. What a good battle through the weekend we've had. We've seen, especially the opening heat race under the lights last night, all 4 drivers that qualified up front, Dutch Westbrook, Brody Stoffel, along with Andrew Anastasio and Theodore Mitchell, trading the lead multiple times over. Anyone could have won. Came down to the final couple of corners between all of them battling it out. And then heat number 2 today, Dutch Westbrook got away, stayed away, was able to build a bit of a gap as they battled. And unfortunate for Theodore Mitchell, as he had a ride over into the dirt and it knocked the chain off of his go-kart. So he starts from the tail of the field here back in 4th. Rafi Ali in 5th. Bit of a fast start attempt here this time for Brody Stoffel in the number 9. It looks like it will be good enough to get the green, and they're underway here for their 18-minute main event. Plus 2 laps as they head down to turns 1 and 2. Good start off the bat this time for the number 8 of Andrew Anastasio. Dutch Westbrook slots into 3rd, Mitchell into 4th, and they'll head down the backstretch for the very first time under the lights for the Helix Electric Honda Kid Karts.
Not a surprise that old Dutch Westbrook is going to drop down to the bottom of the track. He loves that line.
Yeah, off the end, and I think he ends up paying the price there because the draft went to Theodore Mitchell as there goes the battle for the lead. Andrew Anastasio takes over the top spot, headed out of turn number 6.
That great move there. I mean, he just took advantage of Westbrook going down to the bottom. Not what you really want to do, but, you know, it worked for him.
Oh, no. Westbrook dropped a tire, and the championship points leader trying to get it back going, given the signal there to fire the motor back up, let him know we're good to go. And they're trying to get him back, and it looks like now he's going to be pulled off the racetrack. Oh, Dutch Westbrook's championship season ends on the opening lap of the main event. Heartbreak for the kid, and after such a good heat race earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so tough. I mean, he's been doing so good. He was basically untouchable in the heat earlier today. It's just tough luck dropping a wheel like that.
Yeah, just unfortunate for Dutch Westbrook. Such a good weekend of racing for him. Now the focus shifts to a new couple drivers with the opportunity to lead laps. Andrew Anastasio leads lap number 1, Stoffel 2nd, Theodore Mitchell in 3rd.
Yeah, Anastasio and Stoffel are going to start working together, I feel like. And I don't know if Mitchell's going to be able to catch him. He had the speed earlier this weekend, but in the heat earlier today, didn't really get to show it that well.
Well, I will say the kit karts are probably one of the few classes that they don't seem to work together too much. They like to pass each other. Here comes another one. Brody Stoffel inside, turn 6. He'll take back the lead away from Andrew Anastasio. Now, they pulled away from Theodore Mitchell, but if they fight enough, he might get up into the mix once again as Stoffel covers the inside into 7 and into 8 to kind of keep everybody at bay.
And you know Theodore Mitchell's hungry, too. He didn't really have the best heat in the last heat earlier today. So I think he's looking to make up some ground and get that chip off his shoulder.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do again. Theodore Mitchell, like you said, not a great heat earlier today. For those just tuning in for the main events, Theodore was battling side by side for second going into turn number 10 on the backside of the track. Just got kind of knocked up to the side, and it popped the chain off the rear of the go-kart. Now, Anastasio back to the lead there with a slingshot move into turn 13. Just so fun how unpredictable the runs really kind of are, right? You think that, you know, that they're going to stay even or they don't have an opportunity to get by each other, and then out of nowhere they make a pass happen with the kids.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about earlier today, like there's passing opportunities everywhere on this track, but for the kid karts, it really is everywhere. You know, they're not really going that fast, so I guess that just helps them with these passing opportunities.
Yeah, and then just the momentum, everything matters about it all. And now look at this. You just so much unpredictability, right? I mean, you didn't see it look like that Anastasio and Stoffel lost all that much time. Theodore Mitchell just cut that gap way down. He closes up all the way to them down to turn 6.
Now he's looking to get back into this fight. Looks like he's lacking just a little bit down the straightaway, but I think he's going to start making back up time. He's looking fast.
Yeah, he's getting right there. And what a great couple shots we got here with the SpeedSportz Racing Park lit up here onto the lights. The Mini Swift class presented by the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy set to go onto the racetrack next up. Should put on a fantastic show in that one. And then we'll get to, I believe, one of our junior classes, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or no, 206 senior will go after, presented by Cruise Racing Development, which should have a lot of heavy hitters going at it. We've seen a bunch of different faces at the front of that field, just like we've seen all the trading for the lead in this one as the 3-car lead pack heads to the final hairpin.
Ooh, look at Mitchell. He was looking a little racy going down that short chute in the middle of the track, but he's just lost a little bit going into that last corner.
Yeah, he peeked a nose out. Now he goes to the other side of the racetrack. looking to maybe go side by side with Brody Stoffel. Not going to get the run enough. Stoffel gets the draft a little bit off Andrew, and they will stay in line without change. But Brody Stoffel is going to have a good run, and Andrew Anastasio down the backstretch. Look at him close up into 4 and 5. Here he comes, tucking his head down behind the wheel. Both kids trying to get as aerodynamic as they can, get the weight off their axle. And Brody Stoffel, wheel to wheel for the lead to turn 6. He takes the lead back once again. And again, Theodore Mitchell just
a little wide,
looking for a way by. He's all the way on the bottom. That'll hurt him on exit. Theodore Mitchell with a crossover of his own, and they're all going to go single file into 8.
Well, this is getting crazy now. And these guys are really fighting each other, and it's I think it's going to get a little dangerous here in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, it ended in tears for Theodore Mitchell in that heat race. And like you said, not a great exit there out of 8 and 9. I think he just bogged down the exit, right? When they cut the line to be a little more narrow, they seem to pay a heavy price in the Honda Kit Kart class. And look at this. Stoffel was a little narrow coming out of 11. Here comes Andrew Anastasio to the inside. Turn 13, he's by and keeps the position over to turn 14.
Man, I thought he was going to switch him back over going into the hairpin. I was waiting for it, but just looked like he held back a little bit.
He was looking, man. He was looking to go. Look at Theodore Mitchell even. Big run, hopping, trying to go, can't go down to turn number 1.
It looks like Mitchell just has really good speed out of the corners, but on the top end, it's just not working for him so far.
Yeah, hard to tell what's the difference for him of being just a little bit off that end of the straightaway draft compared to the other two. As here comes a big run for Brody Stoffel in the toe, looking back for the lead again, and he'll trade the top spot maybe. He's got a nose on the inside. He gets by there to turn 6 once again.
Man, we're to see it pass every single lap, aren't we? This is going to be fun.
I think so, man. The kids are putting on a good show. Theodore Mitchell again trying that crossover move. Can he do a little better job this time? Just not fully there through turn 8 and 9. But they're all still relatively close together, and it's such a cool snapshot, right? You're looking at the future of this series. A lot of these kids will, again, run up into the micro, the mini, the 206 classes, all the way up to the KA junior, then, of course, that crazy KA senior class. Can't seem to speak enough about how much that one lines the fences here at the end of each day.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys grow up together, basically. You know, I still know a lot of the people that I race kit karts with, even to this day. And, yeah, I mean, who knows how long these guys will be racing alongside each other.
Well, right now, another long side pass for Anastasio. Theodore Mitchell trying to get the run, but he's not going to get the draft. I think that's probably the concept most of the kids. Brody Stoffel seems to have it down a little bit for them to grasp is the slipstream effect, right? You know, they all understand when to give right now, when to kind of go for the pass. They've got the racing line down pretty well. That was one thing Dutch Westbrook struggled with a little bit this weekend is he'd want to pull out to pass them, but he wouldn't realize that if they were all lined up, that he wouldn't end up getting the run. Now here Theodore Mitchell's just kind of waiting, trying to decide which lane to go with. Brody Stoffel was trying to go low, but ultimately Mitchell with a little glove tap to Anastasio kept him in the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Stoffel had a great run down straightaway, and it just didn't really work out too well for him. Look at as Mitchell goes around him out of 7 through that double right-hander.
So first pass for Theodore Mitchell here, although he kind of keeps it narrow coming out of 9. And that'll let Stoffel get back on the inside. Oh, just slammed the door shut on him there going over to 11.
Let's see if Mitchell is able to catch back up to Anastasio, though. Anastasio's pulled out a pretty nice gap so far.
The funniest part, too, you have some of the kids, right? They're running in the karts, and I've seen it from multiple young kid karters, is they talk to themselves during the race. You know, I got to think they probably got a similar commentary feed they've got under the helmets, at least one of them. You know, there's a kid kart kid I know up in Indiana. He sings the Mario Kart theme song while he's out there racing on the racetrack.
You think they hear Xander Clements in their helmet when they're racing?
I don't know. I don't know if that would hurt me or help me. I can tell you I never got to race kid kart, so I never would have experienced it, but I probably would have done it in my helmet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't remember. That was a long time ago for me, so I have no idea.
Yeah, but that's the funniest part is you put the GoPro on the helmet of the kids, and, you know, they're so focused and into it, but the engines just aren't loud enough where you can't hear them, so you can hear what they're saying sometimes, and you just never know what's going to come out of a 5-year-old's mouth sometimes in a turn number 6.
Oh, yeah, they're having a great time out there. I mean, they might not be winning, but I know that all this passing and all this close racing and stuff is really making them have a great time.
Well, they're having a good battle here for the lead. Anastasio trying to hang on over Theodore Mitchell. Brody Stoffel hasn't caught back up quite just yet, but Theodore Mitchell's just kind of going everywhere that Andrew Anastasio isn't. You know, he's gone high, he's gone low, and, man, I'm just noticing now in that shot going over to turns 11 and 12, I don't know if that's affecting the drivers or not going to that turn 11 hairpin. A lot of cars with their headlights on over there outside of turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, I might have a little bit of effect on these guys, but honestly, I think these kids are way more focused on that turn ahead than those lights.
I'd like to hope so, man. Here, we'll wait till we get around to that shot once again next time by, so we can point that out as they come across the line here, just past the halfway marker.
That was
Mitchell's
very
run. That was close. I don't think he'll have enough steam to hold on to the spot to turn 1. He tucks back in.
He just misses just a little bit on the towards the end of the straightaway. I mean, it's hampering his performance just a little bit.
Yeah, here they go through turns 4 and 5. They'll go down the back straightaway once again. Look how close they are. I think Theodore Mitchell might get a good run at him at the end of the backstretch. The slipstream's starting to come in. He's waiting, staying behind, looking to see if someone's passing him as he wants to wait for a different place to go by. Ultimately, Anastasio holds the lead through 6. And down to the inside into 7. Opening up there is Theodore Mitchell. He gets on the crossover move. Just can't get the momentum coming out of it, and he kind of tucks back in.
Mitchell loves hopping in that seat. And look at these guys. I've never seen so much patience between some kid karters in these last few corners.
Here's this shot, what I'm talking about, Riley. Look at this shot. See all those bright lights over on the far side? Oh, right when I say that, I think they might have finally turned them off.
They might have hurt you, man.
Maybe it was the rental cars coming into park over on the rental side of the facility, because that's going on as well. Of course, SpeedSportz Racing Park, one of the coolest parts of the facility is the fact that it's got 2 racetracks going at the exact same time. You have the Texas Sprint Racing Series, the state and regional championship finale on the pro track, and then you just got a casual Saturday evening with a bunch of rental cars having some fun on the other side of the property, just behind this camera shot right over here. Here's a look at them. Look at all, you got a full field of Barrel Art rental carts, spinning, going all kinds of ways there. You got blocking, passing. I'm sure definitely some black flags waving tonight on that. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's a spin right there. Caught one on the stream. Anyway,
it's so much fun doing those rental carts. We got the opportunity of doing them today, and it's so much fun just beating and banging and just racing these guys super hard.
Well, and not to knock Alan Rudolph's equipment at all, but it's definitely nice when someone else owns the go-kart or car that you're driving. Obviously.
For sure.
It's rental. We go back to the on-track action here. Just a couple of minutes plus 2 laps to go. Haven't missed anything. Andrew Anastasio still leads Theodore Mitchell, and Brody Stoffel's caught back up to him. He's going to carry the momentum here. Theodore Mitchell cut it narrow, and he'll lose the spot because of it as Brody Stoffel gets back to 2nd.
Yeah, Brody Stoffel came back charging really hard. He's bouncing a little bit of late form here.
Yeah, nice little bit. So here they go out of turn number 11, 12 into 13. Still leading is Andrew Anastasio. Theodore Mitchell just kind of riding there in the 3rd spot, looking to find a way past. Big run for him coming out of that last corner. Tucks his nose down to the inside of Brody Stoffel. Not going to have enough speed to stay alongside. He goes back behind him.
And they leave no room going around that kink there. I mean, that's been so tight lap after lap. When they go side by side, it's getting a little sketchy.
Yeah, so here they go through the S's. Turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and 5. Once again, and Andrew Anastasio continues to show the way with Brody Stoffel. He's had no problem making moves at the end of this long back straightaway. This will be the best run he's had in a while. Here he goes, trying to run with it. Down the inside, turn 6 for the lead. And down the inside and clear. Brody Stoffel gets by. But here comes Anastasio back to the outside for the over-under. Through 7, look at Theodore Mitchell getting into the mix as well.
Now I'm surprised we didn't see any dust fly off the track right there. It looked like Stoffel got pinched on the exit there, but luckily everybody came out unscathed.
So there they go over to turn number 10 into the hairpin. What does Anastasio do? Does he go to the inside? No, he does not. He gave a big shot there to Brody Stoffel. Was glued to the bumper coming out of turn 9. They pulled a pretty big gap over Theodore Mitchell there. So big time run here for Brody Stoffel. Bigger run for Andrew Anastasio, pushing him the last couple straights. Now working the outside, trying to go to the inside. Can't fully get right there.
Oh man, he's got all the dirty stuff going around that corner. It's so marbly over in that right-hand kink, or left-hand kink, I mean, down the middle of the track. I'm surprised he was able to keep it on track.
Yeah, and make a crossover move stick for the lead. So Andrew Anastasio back to the lead. Brody Stoffel back to 2nd. Theodore Mitchell back to 3rd as the field works its way towards the turn 4-5 complex.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun watching all these guys shuffling, and they're all battling super hard, but everybody's staying super clean. In some classes maybe there might be a couple wrecks or so. I mean, when egos clash like that, but gladly these guys haven't really built their egos yet, and they're racing each other and having a lot of fun.
There goes Stoffel back on the inside. Anastasio to the outside. Again, Theodore Mitchell looking for a window of opportunity. He keeps trying crossover moves, but it just kills his momentum when he does it. Maybe he can do it here. No, won't be able to do it there. He's got to run it wide. He runs wide this time following the kids in front, so he doesn't lose as much. But Andrew Anastasio, bumper, almost there into 11. We saw some of these kids get really aggressive in this hairpin, but man, they all sent it deep there. They went way wide on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, it's tough for Mitchell right now. I mean, it looks like he's kind of shooting himself in the foot with a little bit with doing these little bit of alternate lines, going too tight or too wide in some places, and just kind of hampering the momentum he's trying to carry, like you said.
Just a little bit as they come out of the final turn and go down the front straightaway here side by side for the lead. Anastasio on the inside, going to be the outside for turn 1. It'll go back the way of Brody Stoffel down to turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, these guys are racing super hard. You'd love to see it. I mean, this is even all weekend. It's been some of the most entertaining racing that we've been seeing. So it's fun to see.
Yeah, we've had so much fun calling these kid karts here. They've got about a minute and a half plus 2 laps to go. So final couple stages for them. Other thing to keep in mind that you saw Rafael Lee might be lap traffic, probably not at the rate they're at. But look at this, Anastasio. He got fully cleared. Talking about a slingshot engage right there.
Slingshot engage, Ricky Bobby. That's fun to see. I mean, that draft is just so important in these races. I mean, especially in these kid karts, that's so powerful. And if you don't get that draft, it could hamper you really bad.
Well, again, they're set to go 25 to 30 miles an hour. They're maxing out on top speed here out of the first hairpin.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all just on kind of keeping the revs wound up, because, again, you're not going to get any more torque or any more acceleration. Keep as much momentum as you can. We've seen sometimes they go around the outside, and the guy on the inside is so bogged down they can get clear. We've seen a few around the outside passes in the higher horsepower classes tonight, too, as well. Robbie Mott had a great around the outside pass. A couple kids in KA Senior pulled it off as well. It was cool to watch as the field comes out of the final turn. This time by, I think it should be about 3, maybe 4 to go, right at the closing in on that time limit.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get maybe 3 more laps or so. I mean, time limit's got 30 seconds left, so you get that 1 more lap and then 2 more to go.
Yep, so that'll do it here for the 18 minutes plus 2 laps. At least the temps obviously cooled off for such a lengthy main event here for these kid cars. I mean, this is, probably the longest session they'll run out of any series in the country. I would say, at bare minimum, nothing longer than this here. Used to kid kart club races only run a little less of the distance, maybe 10, 15 laps. We're pushing about lap 16, 17 right now.
That's great for these kids, though, that they have so much built-up energy. I mean, these kids are always playing around in the paddock and throwing rocks and throwing footballs, and they're having a great time, and they still have all their energy for this race.
I guarantee you they're going to be napping on the ride home or the ride back to the hotel here tonight. I don't know how many parents will be headed out of here this evening, or if they're staying in town, headed out tomorrow morning. Obviously, at the end of the evening here, they got to hang around for the championship awards. All the kids on the screen inside the championship top 5, so they're going to want to hang to get all their trophies for the end of the 2022 season. Had a great cookout last night to do a nice little banquet for the weekend, the championship, and the 2022 TSRS coming to a close here after 5 rounds. 5 rounds set again for next year. Another stop or 2 here at SpeedSportz in the works. We're going to New Orleans once again. Brittany Lobaugh at the drivers meeting mentioned that they are working really hard to get the last couple dates locked into their schedule. Lots of things up in the air, and again, the series at the point now where they can only go to certain facilities. Lots of go-kart tracks in Texas. Not all of them can host 200, 250 entries.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm really excited. I really hope that we get to go to DKC this year. I've been looking at the pictures of the track and all the videos they've been posting about the progress of their building those 2 new tracks, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited for that race. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool if they're able to get all that together and get a date for the 2023 season. Look at this here. Again, they've tightened back up just a little bit. Andrew Anastasio still leading. Brody Stoffel second. Theodore Mitchell third. Coming down to the final few laps. Brody Stoffel needs a big run here to challenge the number 8 car once again over to turn 11. And Theodore Mitchell, he's got to change his strategy up. Again, he's trying to kind of do this crossover move at the end of the corner, but he always narrows the exit up, and it bogs the momentum, and he falls further and further backward in the number 20.
I mean, it's been proven all weekend that he has the speed. He qualified on pole and everything, and he's just not using his tools properly currently.
Yeah, just a little bit of a learning experience on racecraft. And, again, we're talking, again, of 5 to 8-year-old kids. So these kids obviously doing a heck of a job for their age. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Any of the 3 of them could come away with the win. Theodore Mitchell has rode in third most of this main event. Brody Stoffel and Andrew Anastasio have traded the lead about more times than most can count, and probably most can count at their age. Down the back straightaway here, big run coming for Brody Stoffel one more time.
Yeah, look at that draft going on the straightaway. It's so powerful there. He's going to pull out to the inside, see if he'll stick it in.
He's going to be alongside into turn 6 and get clear for the lead. Stoffel goes through. How can Anastasio answer?
Great job covering in that the over-under there, as well as defending here. He's doing exactly what he needs to do for this win.
Theodore Mitchell almost got alongside the leaders, but got bogged down coming out of 9. It'll come down to these two, I think, as long as there's no fireworks or tears at the last corner. Here comes Andrew Anastasio, ascend into 11,
Whoa.
way deep, but he gets the job done on
Great job sticking it.
Yeah, great pass there. All three of them, final run, final corner of the 2022 season here in Kid Kart. 3 drivers together. Look at this, looking. Brody Stoffel can't get on the inside. Can he make a run out of it? It'll be a last second. Look, the draft's going to be right here.
It's a drag race.
It's going to come right down to it. Can Anastasio hold on? I think he will. Andrew Anastasio wins under the lights at Houston.
Great race for Anastasio.
Awesome finish there. What a great run for the Helix Electric Honda Kid Karters to close out the season. Rafael Lee will finish in 4th. Of course, 3rd to Theodore Mitchell in the pole award today. And Andrew Anastasio and Brody Stoffel, what a great show for both drivers. I mean, they kept it entertaining start to finish. Lots of passing, lots of awesome racecraft from all of them, and something that the KA seniors could learn a little bit, no contact.
Yeah. And there's a bit of common respect between these kids. I mean, they're all friends off the track, and, they're all friends. They hang out, and there's no wrecking. You don't have to push somebody off the track or anything just to have a good race.
No, they had a great time, great atmosphere, and I'd like to hope that when they get over to the scale area, all of them shaking hands, having fun. And, the thing is, win, lose, crash, or, finish, all the kids, look at this awesome stuff. Applause from everybody at the fence line. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. That's the culture we like to brag about in karting, of being one big motorsports family. And it's a little bit dysfunctional at times, maybe a lot of times. But we're all here because we love what we do, and we love seeing the passion in the young kids here as they all pull in, the future of our sport. And that was a very promising Kid Kart main event for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even not just the Kid Kart families, it's all of this. I think the whole Texas Sprint Racing Series, I mean, everybody here knows each other, races each other on a semi-weekly basis. And, we are all one big family, and I think it's very exemplified here.
Yeah, they exemplified it. Now, for some of the other classes, well, they got a little work to do to put us on a good show to send off the 2022 calendar year. But at least for the Helix Electric Honda Kid Karts, their season is wrapped and done. We're going to move on to the next group on the order, which is the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swifts. Gage Bailey, man, what a weekend Gage has had. Been super fast all weekend long. Been the kid to beat. Lost the lead sometimes on some of the early laps, but then he's quickly built a gap, swept both the heat races. He starts on the pole alongside Tyler Roberts. Got the word from Tyler Roberts and his family. Again, they were trying to make sure he didn't miss any school on Friday, so they missed out on qualifying. Started from the rear both the heats, but now Tyler Roberts and then Iron Rock Parolin, he'll join Gage Bailey on the front row, his best starting spot yet.
I'm excited to see what Roberts is going to be able to do this one, because he's been having to start from the back from both the heat races and has made his way up to second both times, but he hasn't really had that full amount of time to catch up to the leaders.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully get to see Tyler Roberts have a shot at Gage Bailey. Seems like he might be the best one to go after him. You go back to row number 2, Tyrone Kemper Jr. Been a top 5 weekend for Tyrone Jr. with some glimpses of a little bit more, but nothing more as of yet. You go back to row number 2, on the outside of Tyrone Jr., it'll be Derek Wargo, who has also had a solid start to his season, and then all the way through in the championship point standings in both 206 Cadet and in the AR Academy Mini Swift class. He rolls off in that 178 machine on the outside of row number 2. Row 3, it'll be Emil Hernandez-Marin, and we watched him and Juan Jose Paramo have an awesome battle through that final heat race on the day. There's Juan Jose Paramo lined up in the number 140 ACI Team Mexico Parolin entry. Then you go back behind him, you've got Pato Cadena in 7th, and we've got David Ibarra lined up tail end of the grid for an engine change. So the 106 Arcane Motorsports CRG driver had bad luck at heat number 2 and might have been engine related, as again, he'll be starting from the tail of the field due to an engine change in the main event for the Mini Swift class presented by the AR Academy. You go back down the order here, that's 2 main events down, 7 still to go. The Mini Swifts coming up. Following them, one class definitely not to be missed, the Cruise Racing Development 206 Seniors, kind of our semi-pro or stepping stone class into KA Senior. It's also got a lot of talent pulling double duty, the likes of Drew Chappell, who will be rolling off high up in the grid. And we've seen so many different faces at the front of the 206 Senior field. Should be super, super fun to watch them go at it as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, watching the previous heats, it's like there's 8 or 9 people that could win, like have a real legit shot at winning this race. It's going to be really interesting and really fun to watch.
And, of course, as we look towards that, Kelvin Jing with that cracked chassis to start the second heat race, caught that one late. Not sure what kind of deal they're going to be set up on here for the main event, but obviously they're going to hope to have that thing fixed up. He faded back to 9th. He'll be on the way forward. Braxton Trigg, 1st and 3rd in both heat races. He gets to roll off on the pole, so he'll be looking pretty for that one. Sally Mott looking for redemption. Spun, went backwards across the line to finish 2nd in Heat 2. She'll start up front as well. And like you said, I mean, you could go on and on. So many names in that one that could be in the mix. A few that we think could get into the mix here in Mini Swift, but it's all been about Gage Bailey thus far. They'll all need to step up their game here under the lights to try and challenge the 169 if they want this win.
I think it's going to be really cool to watch Tyler Roberts and Gage Bailey go through. I mean, Roberts has just been showing how fast he's been, and I think if there's anyone that can bring the fight to Gage Bailey, I think it's Roberts.
Yeah, he's got to be willing to really get up on the wheel early. And I think, again, for everybody else, from Tyler Roberts' perspective, Tyler Roberts has gotten a lot of national level experience at the front of the scene. Plenty of these kids have also made major touring series starts above the Texas Sprint Racing Series and the likes of the SCUSA Pro Tour, of course. Part of the prize package is those SCUSA Super Nationals 25 guaranteed starting spot and entry and tire packages for the champions. That's obviously super cool. That event's going to be massive this year in November.
Yeah. I cannot wait for Super Nats. I think last year was, a little bit not what we wanted, but I think that everything this year is looking really good.
Yeah, it's back to the Rio All Suites Casino and Hotel. It's back just right across from the Strip. Everyone's going to be staying at the same place. Feels like a cruise ship almost. Mm-hmm. How many of the whole racing family all stays at that one venue. It makes it a lot of fun. Kids to adults. Here we're about to have a lot of fun with the kids. The Mini Swifts are green down to turn number 1. And great start for Bailey. He gets to the lead. Tyler Roberts trying to stay tough on the outside for 2nd. He'll get through and hold it there. Nice move by Tyler Roberts to get to 2nd.
Oh, yeah. He really kept the elbows out there. I mean, it looked like he was getting squeezed just a little bit by Tyrone Kemper, but it's looking good now.
Yeah, so there goes the battle for the 4th position. Looking on the inside, I believe that is going to be Derek Wargo. And he gets the spot away from Juan Jose Paramos, moves him back up into the 4th position. Tyrone Kemper Jr. into 3rd. Everyone kind of safely sliding their way through. And then you can see David Ibarra at the back there in that CRG for Arcane Motorsports. Already picked up 1 spot. So he's digging towards the front as Gage Bailey's Bennick leads the way.
Yeah, let's see how quickly David Ibarra is able to catch back up. He's really been really fast all weekend, and I really think he can make up some spots here.
Here they go into the hairpin this time. Tyrone Kemper Jr. a little bit narrow to keep the 3rd spot in his hands, but he loses a little bit of time on the exit to Tyler Roberts. So let's see. The top 2 drivers who have been the fastest so far this weekend. Roberts starting from the tail. By the time he'd get through the field, we couldn't tell if he'd have enough speed to challenge Gage. Right now, it's looking pretty good. He's on the bumper out of turn 5.
Oh, yeah, he's looking real racy right now. I mean, he's been waiting these last 2 days for this, and he had to go to school for this and wasn't able to qualify and just been putting his head down and driving his best laps.
Oh, look at that pass back behind him for 3rd. Derek Wargo on that Trackside Karting Services. Kart Republic gets another spot. He gets by on Tyrone Kemper Jr., moves himself up the order into 3rd.
Now, we definitely can't forget about Wargo. I mean, he's a constant contender here for the wins, and I think there's no question about this one as well.
He's been very consistent all season long. Double duty again for him as they battle back even further behind them as well. David Ibarra trying to get another spot, get him closer to the top 5. This group right here, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ibarra, Tyrone Kemper Jr. aboard the Energy, then Juan Jose Paramo, and there's David Ibarra. He's got himself up another spot as he exits the final turn, nearly dropping wheels. We saw some sparks flying out of that CRG.
Oh, yeah. A little sketchy there, but he's making his ways up. It's all about being efficient with your passing. You don't want to lose too much time to the guys ahead, and looks like he's lost just a little bit of space, but he definitely has the speed to make that back up.
15 and a half minutes to go here as we're just getting started with this 18 minutes plus 2 laps main event to close out the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series season presented by AuctionEtex.com with the Mini Swift class, the 3rd of the 9 groups on the run order. Ibarra exits turn number 7 and leads this little pairing here with Emil Hernandez-Marin and Pato Cadena there at the end of the grouping as well.
And Pato Cadena didn't really have the best Heat 2 earlier today. I think he spun out, didn't he?
I believe so, yeah. Pato Cadena was in the mix battling, and then just the way it all kind of shook out had him facing backwards. So that was unfortunate for sure. Looking further up the order to get back to Wargo. Tyrone Kemper Jr. is kind of latching onto him, and you can see Tyler Roberts is still not terribly far up the road. In fact, everybody's relatively even. Tyrone Kemper Jr. goes purple. all 4 of the top 4 drivers ran lap times within half a tenth of each other.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, hopefully the draft play comes into play for a little bit, so that brings them closer together. But, yeah, it's looking real good for Gage Bailey right now.
And that's from you and I talking. We want to break out the popcorn. All the parents on the sidelines, they are praying this race either goes one of 2 ways. If you're Gage Bailey, you just want everyone to spread out. And if you're one of the kids, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you want your kid to get the toe, get forward, and that's about it. Now, we're seeing Tyrone Jr. Again, he was purple last time, all over Derek Wargo. Gave up that 3rd spot on the opening couple laps. Maybe he's looking a little bit better now and could be able to challenge for P3.
Yeah, I mean, all weekend, he's shown glimpses of speed, and he just hasn't been able to put it together completely. But I think he's got it going right now. I mean, he's looking real fast with Wargo, and I think if they get hooked up, and they're going to bring the fights to the leaders.
So out of the final turns we go. Derek Wargo right ahead of Tyrone Kemper Jr. Both of them, I think, made up some ground again on Tyler Roberts. Indeed, they did. Roberts fell a 10th off the pace of Gage Bailey, both 3rd and 4th, closing up, although a little bobble there from Wargo as he gets some sparks flying there in turn 3. Here they go down the backstretch, looking for help from Tyrone Jr. Will he get it? He does. Nice little push there from the energy cart.
A great thing to see those guys working together. They know what the assignment is, and they know where they want to be, so it's good to see them working together.
Yeah, nicely done for both of them, because now they're going to get the benefit of the toe off Tyler Roberts. And behind them, Juan Jose Pramo is a little bit back. If they fight enough, Juan Jose could make it 5 drivers back in the lead pack again. So Tyrone Jr. and, of course, Derek Wargo doing a great job inching, clawing, getting their way a little bit closer to the top 2.
Yeah, man, I don't know if Tyler Roberts is going to end up losing that draft ahead of him. There's a little bit of a gap between him and Gage Bailey, but, we'll see if hopefully he can lay down some really good laps and
this lap looks a little better, I think, for Roberts. Let's see where they all stack up across the line. Indeed, Tyler Roberts, purple, 58.88. Picks up about 100th to Bailey. I think he's got a big run out of that last turn, too. That helped him, so he'll close up now. 2 to 3 car lengths back from the leader, headed down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I see them engage that DRS, trying to get a little bit more aerodynamics going down that straightaway, catch the toe a little bit better. And hopefully it's working for him. I think it is.
Yeah, out of turn 6, looking pretty good here for Tyler Roberts to continue to chip away at the margin out front. Now, he did not get as good of an exit, I would say, or good run through this hairpin section. The switchbacks 6, 7, and then that double apex turns 8 and 9. Not as good of a run for Tyler Roberts on that Iron Rock Motorsports Paralyn, but he was gaining a lot of ground out of the last turn and through the opening sector. So we'll see what he can do. I think Gage Bailey might have opened that gap up back on him once again. We'll see if Tyler can get rolling here. As for the group behind, Derek Wargo and Tyrone Kemper Jr., they were a 10th off the leaders last time. They might be about another 10th off this time. I think Gage Bailey, look quick as he was, game of inches, goes back in the way of the number 169.
Yeah, Bailey just looks like he's settling in now. I mean, he's got his laps, he's got his space, and he just has to make the laps count.
Yeah, he's doing good. Again, he's just not fully in the clear. Tyler Roberts, half a second back, is going to benefit from the draft. Doesn't have a pusher like Derek Wargo does. That'll help him into turn number 6 with Tyrone Kemper Jr. shoving him forward to try and close that gap to the leaders. Again, they're having a good run altogether, just not quite there to the top 2 as of yet.
I mean, all these guys are running almost pretty much the similar times. I mean, it's all within maybe a 10th or 2, and it's very obvious on the track.
Yeah, out of turn at number 11 here, over to 12. We'll run over to 13, and we've got just about 11 minutes remaining, so still a lot of time left here in the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Mini Swift main event as the clock continues to tick here. 7 minutes down, 11 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Halfway coming in about 2 laps.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, honestly. I think Wargo's might be falling off a little bit. I think Kemper might need to take a little bit of a risk and make a pass to maybe catch Roberts, because it looks like they're falling just a little bit behind him now every lap.
Again, you can see that really when they make contact in the center of the corner or a little bit on the exit before they get into the toe part of the straightaway, because that right there in turn 5, you kind of got into the back of him. Turn 6 there, he's right all over him as well. That's a sign when you're tapping the driver in front of you's bumper in the center of the corner that you probably got a little more roll speed than he does, maybe a little more grip or maybe a little bit less if he's overstuck and has to slow down. And you got to go at that point. If you're only pushing them on the longer straightaways and it takes a little bit of the draft to close back up, then you're better off with that driver leading. He's a little bit faster than you, and he's going to be a better one to go out in front. But I think, like you said, Tyrone Jr., he's been doing a great job pushing him. He might just be a little better going on his own, but he's got to be smart because they're just outside the draft window. The harder it is for Tyrone Jr. to make the pass, the more time that they lose if they trade spots, the bigger that gap to the leaders will become. So if he wants to go He should go now in a smart and opportune place, maybe like turn 6, end of the backstretch. You can get the slipstream to the point that you really make up the loss in time by the pass by pulling up alongside, but he's not close enough just yet. Only gets there into the braking zone.
Yeah, it looks like he's just lost a little bit. Maybe made him a little bit of a mistake coming out of that last corner, but it looks like they're really back to bumper and bumper now. It's looking good.
Yeah, not fully able to get there all the way as the field goes over to turn number 10 into turn number 11. The hairpin here gives him a little tap going in, and the time's just spreading out. Now, Tyler Roberts was faster than the race leader last time by, so that's good news for the Roberts camp. They'd been was a little bit slower, sorry. He was losing ground to the race leader. Misread that. A 58.6 for Gage Bailey, a 58.7 for Tyler Roberts. Roberts matches his time that time. Bailey almost does as well. So the gaps are opening up as we get to the halfway marker here in this main event for Mini Swift. Not the sign you wanted to see for our point of view from entertainment, and especially for anyone but Gage Bailey. As these gaps open more and more, it's just going to be a more and more spread out race in the favor of the race leader, the 169 Team Bennick machine.
I think Kepper just needs to make the move now. I mean, he's losing ground to Roberts, and I think that he has the speed to catch him, and he's just not doing it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a leap of faith, right? You're comfortable pushing the guy in front of you. The last thing you want to do is go in front, lose a little time, and then lose more time by not being able to make up any more ground. So as they exit turn number 11 through 12, they'll go over to 13, 14, or 15 once again.
Well, that's why I'm saying that he needs to do it sooner rather than later. I mean, just so he has more time to make that gap back up. He's losing every single lap, and, that one extra lap it might take to catch Roberts could mean the world.
Yeah, definitely could as they go through 1, 2, and 3, over to 4, once again into 4 and 5. Again, Gage Bailey still leads. His lead now up to 9/10 of a second. Add another 2.5 tenths over Roberts last time. Roberts pulled away 2 tenths to this grouping with Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Derek Wargo. So here's the leaders going through. There's Roberts in that Iron Rock Motorsports Parolin by himself. Again, missing out on seat time. That obviously plays into a bit of an account. When you come into a weekend, you don't get all the practicing that you'd like to have. You're starting a bit behind the curve because everyone else already has been turning laps, getting themselves dialed in on the driver's side, and making small micro adjustments to the chassis because we don't do a lot of night racing of the year. This is one of a handful of spectacle races under the lights outside of the club races at SpeedSportz Racing Park. So if you're used to running during the daytime, all your notes, again, on what to do to the go-kart as the night goes on, where your tire pressure should be, engine settings, and, of course, just the driver obviously feeling that difference out, missing out on, sessions through the weekend. That puts you a little behind the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me wonder watching this race that what if Tyler Roberts had that seat time that he needed? Would he be level on level playing field with Gage Bailey, or would he be ahead? Who knows?
It's impressive for sure that he's been able to drive through the heat races to get even to where he is here with 6.5 minutes to go as Bailey leads them out of 7. And that's not to take away anything from Gage Bailey. What a great weekend he's put together. Hasn't put a wheel wrong. He's been super smart. Even in that second heat race, got shuffled back a little bit, drove back to the lead, and then pulled away. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, just pulling away, getting himself into a good spot, and having a solid performance here to close out the season.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been basically untouchable this weekend. As long as he got out first in that first lap, he's just been gone. He's just been walking away. He's been looking super relaxed and confident in that kart, and really, like you said, hasn't put a foot wrong all weekend.
No, he's been solid altogether. So kudos to Gage Bailey. That time, still finding more speed. He goes purple, a 58.564, best of the session. Pulls another 10.5 over Roberts. That gap is now 1.1 seconds back to Tyler Roberts in second, and 3.5 back to this duo here of Derek Wargo and Tyrone Kemper Jr. Now Kemper Jr. finally going to go through for third, and he's going to get by him into turn number 6. And like you said, Riley, he might have waited too long. Wargo's going to fight back with him.
That's tough for Tyrone, man. I think he should have made that move just a little bit earlier.
Look at this crossover move as they go side by side out of 9. Wheel to wheel on the full speed run through the kink to turns 10 and 11. Kemper Jr. settles the debate for now, but the gap and the damage has been done if, of course, Tyrone Kemper Jr. is a little better to be the leader because he's about 2.5 seconds back from Tyler Roberts. Hard to tell if he'll get there, but he's low on laps to do it. 5 minutes plus 2 laps here at the line.
And we shall see. I mean, Tyrone has the speed. At least he had the speed earlier, but so we'll see if Derek Wargo is going to be able to hang behind him or even pass him as well. We shall see. As we're going down on that top of the straightaway, we'll see what the gap is like and how much that draft factors in.
Yeah, well, let's look at the backstretch. Already a car length between them. Wargo will get the toe. He'll close back up to Kemper Jr. What does he do with it? He pushes him, gives him the opportunity to lead the way here through turn number 6. And they lost some more time with the battle that lap. They gave up almost about a second to Tyler Roberts. So now they're 3+ seconds back from the driver in second. A nearly insurmountable gap for anyone, much less here with just 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. So it'll be tricky for that, but at least with Tyrone Kemper Jr. making that move early on here in the main, he gets by. He has a few laps to try and build a gap over Wargo, make it where it's not going to be a two-way fight for that final spot on the podium. He can build some cushion room if he can put the good laps together quicker than Derek Wargo. Wargo holding on to him strong, though, on that Trackside Karting Services Kart Republic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he had a great exit out of that last corner and stuck right up to him through that straightaway. And we shall see how that draft works. I know that Tyrone's got really good straightaway speed, but you haven't really seen what Derek Wargo is able to do down the straights.
Yeah, haven't fully seen it here. Now we're getting a good look at it. He's able to stay all over Tyrone Jr.'s rear bumper as they go through turn number 6. And last time by wasn't really a good lap for them at all because they, again, didn't even really battle too much, but they took forever to get footing in. And so they started the lap a little bit slower, and ultimately they've given up more time to the leaders again. Another 0.6 to Tyler Roberts and another few more up to Gage Bailey. Bailey's lead up to 1.5 seconds now back to this battle for third.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely getting lonely up there for Gage Bailey, and I think it's getting lonely too for Tyler Roberts. You know, they would have wanted maybe a little bit more racing, or then maybe just even this nice, quiet race for them. But it looks like Roberts is clawing up just a little bit to Gage Bailey, maybe.
We'll see. Last time by didn't really make much headway. This time, not much either. Another 10th off for Tyler Roberts, but that's obviously a bit of a visual, kind of fallacy as we see them go on through out of turns 4 and 5, mainly because the gap back to 3rd and 4th is getting bigger and bigger. That's increasing. So Roberts is without a doubt pulling away from Tyrone Jr. and Derek Wargo. And they're a little bit slower, I think, with Tyrone out in front. Not by a lot, but ultimately it could have been both of them falling off a little bit because Tyler Roberts, he's putting down consistent laps. He's still a little bit slower than his peak earlier on in the session. And the same for Gage Bailey. He's faded a couple tenths of a second as well.
I mean, that's to be expected as this race goes on. I mean, these guys are on the same tires the entire weekend, and they're getting real low. And so they're not really going to be as fast and as durable as they would have maybe earlier on in the weekend.
Giving a lot of love here to the top 4 drivers. Again, an update on where everybody else in the field runs. Juan Jose Paramo still in 5th. He's pulled away from Emil Hernandez-Marin, and David Ibarra, after getting forward early, unfortunately has just kind of been riding around in that 6th and 7th position, battling with Emil Hernandez-Marin. Pato Cadena had a problem about midway through the main event. He unfortunately will not finish all the laps in the final session of the 2022 season, so Pato will get credited down with an 8th place result. Ibarra having a close fight with Emil Hernandez-Marin. He got up to 5th on the opening circuit for a minute, or the opening couple laps. It looked like he might have been able to run with these two kids here from the back of the grid. Again, an engine change for David Ibarra put him to the tail end, drove through early, and then just kind of got shuffled backwards. Didn't really have the pace to stay inside the top 5.
Man, it's just a shame for him. I mean, he's shown so much promise so far this weekend, and just tough that he had that problem in that second heat, and he had to start in the back for this one. It's just, just how the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
I will say again, pretty tame for these opening few main events. Knock on wood, right? We saw all kinds of chaos in heat number 2, and granted, we're still only on main event number 3 of 9 with what could be a very chaotic 206 senior main event to close out their 2022 season with the points all locked up already. But in Mini Swift right now, been relatively tame. A minute to go, plus 2 laps, just following this battle for third because Tyrone Jr., Derek Wargo haven't really gotten separated since they swapped positions. Out front, no changes at all. Gage Bailey leading by about 2 seconds back to Tyler Roberts. Roberts about another 4 to 5 seconds of his own back to this pairing. And then they've got a massive gap back to Juan Jose Paramo at the edge of the top 5.
Yeah, that 10-second gap is humongous. I mean, it's a huge portion of this track, and it's almost wild how they can even get a gap that big.
Yeah, and that'll happen, right? It's, you don't think about the gaps being that big until the end of the race, but 1/10 a lap for an 18-lap race, that's a 1.8-second margin without any mistakes. So a couple tenths per lap, half a second per lap. You multiply that by how many laps we're running in these mains, and these gaps will get pretty massive as the night goes on. And that, of course, we saw a little bit of lap traffic yesterday in Heat 1, a little bit in Heat 2 in a couple classes. If the lappers don't pull in, there will be a lot of lap traffic here tonight.
Oh, I believe so, too. I mean, it's going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in there, and I think it's going to switch up a few things and maybe spice up the race a little bit. We'll see.
Again, that's another thing you and I would love to see, and add a little more action to the races for the lead and the win as we see this move. Here's some action down the inside for Derek Wargo. Tyrone Jr. slots in line behind, gives him the spot as the timer has hit 0. The 2 to go signal, I believe, has not come out just yet. I think it should be coming this time by, but Derek Wargo realizing it's time to go. Maybe he noticed. There's things you notice as a driver, right? You see that head flagman start to walk out to the stand. You think, okay, he's getting ready to give me that 2 to go signal. Now's my time to go before everyone else notices and sees 2 to go. Because 2 to go, again, that's like the universal signal. All right, now we get to the 3rd stage of the race. You know,
now we're racing.
Yeah, NASCAR has stages of racing separated by caution flags. Most of the karting sprint races I like to describe kind of have 3 stages. You got the opening couple laps, low tire pressures, everyone's on cold, tires are cold, and everyone's just really jostling for a position when they're all packed up together. Then you got the middle stage of the race, looks a lot like this. Pounding laps, field spreads out. And then 2 to go or the last couple laps, and then you're back to all-out racing. And that's what we got right here. Tyrone Jr. down the inside on Derek Wargo, takes back the 3rd spot.
That's going to be a good battle. These 2 guys are so equal in speed. I think it really just comes down to who's going to want that more, who's going to make the better decisions.
Yeah, so Tyrone Jr. getting by Wargo, going to the high side, getting a little bit out of the groove. That cost him a little bit of time. All the way up at the front of the field, though, Gage Bailey will be headed to the last turn shortly to come and take the white flag. This battle is for the final podium spot, not for the win. There's another battle there you saw just at the top of the screen between David Ibarra and Emil Hernandez-Marin for 6th. By his lonesome, Juan Jose Paramo and Tyler Roberts also in no man's land. Here comes this battle for P3. Across the line, white flag in the air for Tyrone Kemper Jr. to try and hold back Derek Wargo.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I wonder if Tyrone's going to block down the straightaway. We will see. He'll be on the dirty side. Might not get the best traction coming out of that hairpin or through the next one, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm interested.
We'll keep an eye on it down the backstretch here. He looks like he's going low, blocks the bottom side to the outside, looking for Derek Wargo. Not going to get there. Into 7. Tyrone doing a good job. Just, again, 1 to 2 lanes lower, not all the way down by the grass where he sacrifices his exit, but taking that thought away of the door being fully wide open for Derek Wargo. Meanwhile, out front as they go to 11, there's Wargo looking for that spot on Tyrone Kemper Jr. and Gage Bailey, on the other hand, he's going to come across the line to take the checkered flag and win the final race of the season. What a weekend for Gage Bailey. And look at them top of the screen. Here's this battle. It looked like Wargo got by him there in 11, but around the outside, Tyrone Jr.
Wow.
So to keep the momentum up, he'll get 3rd at the line and the final podium spot.
Great job from Kemper. Great job.
So Gage Bailey, a dominant win. Didn't get a ton of airtime, but man, did he earn some. What a result. 3 seconds margin back to Tyler Roberts. Another 8 seconds back to Tyrone Jr. in 3rd. Derek Wargo 4th. Juan Jose Paramo in 5th. You go back, David Ibarra and Emil Hernandez-Marin, 6th and 7th. And again, Pato Cadena, DNF, unfortunately ends his season a little bit early here in Houston. So now we head to commercial break. When we come back, it's time to bring the rumble. The Briggs & Stratton 206 Seniors, presented by Cruise Racing Development, is up next.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as IAMI and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jecco Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com. Maryland USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched.
So here we go. Cruz Racing Development 206 Senior getting set to get after it. And, well, they've had a little bit of everything. Some pretty tame races, lots of teamwork. We've also had a lot of battling all throughout the field. Braxton Trigg and Sally Mott make up the front row after the heat races were all set, done, and dusted. Mikey Boland, Tyler Stevens, row number 2. Kelvin Chink qualified in the front row today, or this weekend, but after finding some issues with the chassis, a crack on it specifically in heat number 2, he faded back to 9th. He rolls off in 5th. To his outside, it'll be Drew Chappell. He's got some cool underglow aboard that GWR Red Speed chassis to make up row 3. Then it's going to be Caden Wolf and Macon Moore on row number 4. Landon Melson and Bryce Frank, row 5. And the multi-driver, up nearly 20 total. 206 seniors are getting set for the green. Braxton Trigg has them nearly at a crawl coming onto the front stretch, packed tight. And now we're on the power. Early start for Trigg. Gets the jump he wants, gets the green, side by side for second, give the advantage to Mikey Boland. He slots in line, Mott to third.
Yeah, tough start for that outside line. It just looked like they just did not. Oh, no.
Contact there, 2 drivers off the racetrack. Was that Kelvin Ching? It was. Heavy contact for Kelvin Ching to the right front tire with 1 driver going through turn number 3. Heavy damage. Take a look at that shot of Kelvin Ching going down the back straightaway here. He has major damage. That right front tire is cockeyed about 45 degrees to the inside of the racetrack. Meanwhile, the leaders are clean out front, but that is major championship implications for one of the drivers in the top 5 coming into the finale weekend.
Yeah, look at this top 2. No, they're no stranger to working together, so I'm really interested to see if they will work together and try to pull away from Sally Mott and the whole pack behind.
So let's see, what does Mikey Boland want to do? He worked with Sally Mott that entire second heat, and while it kind of ended in tears for them coming to the checkered flag, so he might want to work with Braxton Trigg instead. As Trigg exits the final turn, he'll lead the pack down the front stretch, 1 lap complete, and about 16.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm surprised the pack's not more bunched up now. I mean, I guess that little spread out start was a little detrimental to some of these guys, hoping to make up a few spots in these first couple laps.
Well, and again, Kelvin Ching and the driver, he made contact with him. I don't know if that was Drew Chappell or if that was someone else that he kind of got together with, but ultimately, Tyler Stevens was the driver he got into it with. So the 2 of them coming together over in turn number 3. That's what really spread that pack out from 4th on back. But they're slowly tightening back up here. Good run for Caden Wolf in the works. He's up to 4th, closing in. Tyler Stevens doesn't seem to have too much damage after heavy contact with Kelvin Ching. He's comfortably there, P5.
Yeah, it looks like that draft's doing its job right now, bunching everybody back together. We'll see if Mikey Boland wants to battle with Braxton Trigg just a little bit, or if he wants to stay behind him and try to build that gap. But for our sake, I hope they start battling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool to see, but I don't know if we'll see it here. Mikey Boland happy to follow the championship points leader. Braxton Trigg clinched the title coming into the weekend. Again, showed up, no practice, qualified, put it up front, won the opening heat, 3rd in the second, put him on pole for the main, and he seems really in command at the moment as everyone's happy to follow the blacked-out American-made chassis over to turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's been dominant all season. You know, he locked up the championship back in Amarillo, and then he just came into this one really relaxed. He's just trying to win a race, you know, not really thinking about the championship like that.
Well, here comes some battling. Mikey Boland with help from Sally Mott looking for the lead. Turn 6, going to get through. Trigg's going to minimize the damage. He'll get back in line to 2nd. And the lead pack tightens up just a little bit over to turns 8 and 9. Now, this is where you hope the kids, 4th, 5th, and 6th, I should say kids, some of the adults who got are up there in the ages as well in the 206 senior class. But the mix of rookies and veterans don't pass back for 4th or 5th. There, Caden Wolf right there had a look on Sally Mott, but this is where you just kind of got to be patient and you got to ride in the pack, because if you botch that pass, or even if you make it, if it takes too much time away, you open the window for a gap to happen just like that, and that's when the gaps open up. And so if the pass is there, if it's a wide open door, you got a big run, you can go for it for third, fourth, or fifth in the situation. But otherwise, the best thing you could do, ride, wait for the leaders to get impatient, be the last one to blink and start passing. If you can wait and be a little patient here, that's when you can stay in the mix, because that's where we see these packs split up. It's usually nothing that the leaders do all that much better. It's more so that the drivers behind them get impatient, race each other, make a bad move or just a mistake, and then they split the pack up, and then we're separated for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, these four-stroke classes are all about momentum, and if you're passing somebody, you lose a little bit of momentum, no matter how small it is. It's a huge gap can build from that. And you see these guys, they're all no stranger to staying behind each other, working together. So I think they all know what they have to do for this race.
See that right there? Tyler Stevens made that move, didn't lose too much time, and then hit a really good sector here right after it. He's closed right back up to Sally Mott. So that's been awesome for Tyler Stevens to not lose any time, but gain a position. He's now up from 5th to 4th. And Braxton Trigg showing a lot of patience here. He's happy to push Mikey Bolin. No need to lead all the laps. He'll just try and separate the two of them and get further away. Now Tyler Stevens with the pass, luckily, was really good for most of that lap. Didn't get a good exit out of the last turn, but he did turn the fastest lap of the session thus far.
Yeah, great job from him so far. I mean, he's been really fast. He's shown his glimpses of speed. You know, the lead has just gotten away from him over the laps. He's just been battling a lot and having to make up a few spots. So now that he's finally settled in, he's got a clear track ahead of him to catch up to the leaders and, you know, try to make a fight for that win.
Let's see what he can do here through turn number 6 and 7 over into the turn 8 hairpin. Again, this is the leading group of 6. Drew Chappell leads the next pack after kind of getting knocked around on the start. And well, he's made up a couple of positions. Unfortunately, he is 3.4 seconds back from the leaders. He needs a lot of passing, and he needs a good dancing partner. He doesn't have one. He's got Landon Melson and Bryce Frank behind him, but none of those three running lap times anywhere close to what the leaders are hitting right now.
Yeah, I mean, Chappell just needs them to battle, just like you said, and I think that's going to happen eventually. But you know, hopefully it's going to be happening a long time, and he's missing out on that draft. And while this whole group is drafting together, they're all making extra time because of that.
Yeah, again, the gap is just going to get bigger and bigger, and Braxton Trigg doing a good job pushing on Mikey Bolin. Well, that's what's kind of keeping starting to spread the lead group up. Macon Moore, without a dancing partner behind him, is starting to lose touch with the top 5. And Tyler Stevens, Caden Wolf, they're one mistake away from losing touch with the top 3 as well, headed to turn 6.
Yeah, I think Sally Mott's losing a little bit of ground as well. I mean, she's fighting really hard to stay up with those front 2 people, and you can't let them get away, because then you're just not going to get, you're not going to get that win.
Yeah, so through turns 8 and 9 here, Braxton Trigg just pushing on Mikey Bolin, keeping him tucked in out front as they go into the turn number 11 hairpin. Once again here, we're about 12 minutes remaining, only 6 minutes in. Long time to go, and like you said, they could get impatient at any point, but it could also look like this for quite some time. Braxton Trigg happy to work together and set himself up for a good spot at the win here. He's in a great position in second.
Yeah, I would definitely assume that it's going to stay like this here for at least a few more laps, and they all know that they need to work together, and they don't want to lose any extra ground.
Well, at least the top 2 do. Sally Mott's looking like she's got speed. If I'm Tyler Stevens or Caden Wolf, though, as soon as I get my shot at the top 3, I'm taking it, because they're losing ground. They're hanging on by a thread. If they let these 2 get away anymore, it'll be down to just the top 2 or top 3 drivers at the end of this showing. And Sally Mott, like you said, she's losing touch just a little. So if she can get by Braxton Trigg, I think he's probably the fastest one in the pack. I think that's probably why they're able to push away and make as much headway as they are, because with him leading but Mikey Bolin a little disconnected, they didn't really spread out. With Braxton Trigg shoving Mikey Bolin around the racetrack, it's spreading the field out tremendously, and slowly we're seeing drivers drop off this lead group.
You know, Mott got a great run out of that hairpin. I wonder if she's going to make a move sooner or later anyway. I think she's got a great shot at it. I think it might be a good idea just to keep that top 2 together.
Yeah, there she's looking. Took a little look to the inside coming out of the last turn. Now, Sally Mott, I wouldn't say is one of those drivers that's got a lot of super aggressive passes. She's super made in the past based off this year, a lot of confidence. You know, we've seen some really aggressive moves. Drew Chappell has not been afraid to throw a few sends in. Mikey Bolin's thrown some good ones. Braxton Trigg hasn't really been in a position to have a lot of really aggressive passes for the lead. So Sally Mott, I mean, she's going to need to make this an aggressive pass if she wants to split the 2 leaders up, because she's not going to be able to rely on the draft. and not going to be able to do it in a high-speed sector. It's going to come under braking, and you're going to have to catch Braxton Trigg by surprise, be able to get him to get off the gas, touch the brake, and drop in line behind her.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And especially even if it just bobbles just her and Trigg, I mean, there's no way Mikey Boland's going to walk away without that draft as well.
Yeah, so she's, Mikey Boland, again, by himself. Like you said, if they bobble for second, that's fine. They can run him back down. Now, if they bobble too much, right, they give him a big gap, that might get him away. But the two Kart tandems in 206 are so much faster than anyone could even hope to be by themselves. They'll always pack back up. And that's, again, why you see Braxton Trigg happily pushing Mikey Boland. He has no need to lead because he won't be able to break away. He can only break away doing exactly what he's doing right now.
Yeah, man, it is starting to look like a three-kart race for those podium spots. And it looks like Tyler Stevens is just falling off just a little bit.
Yeah, he's losing ground. Caden Wolf losing even more ground. So with those guys disconnected here, that's not good news for their race win hopes. And Sally Mott a little bit further back than she's been the last couple laps going into turn 6 this time.
Yeah, just little by little, she's just losing little bits. I mean, there's just little things that she could improve on, and she's maybe making a little bit of mistakes, and, hopefully she ends up learning about what she can do better this time.
So a car length back from Braxton Trigg to Sally Mott as they go over to turns 10 and 11 here. Single file into the hairpin. And yeah, you can see Tyler Stevens, he's gone. He's outside the draft. Same for Caden Wolf, same for Macon Moore. They've all lost touch with the top three. So this drafting strategy is working out good for the leaders, and we're not seeing much changing throughout the rest of the field. Drew Chappell and his group, they're still, about a half second off the pace of the leading pack, and they're really about a little bit slower than 4th, 5th, and 6th by themselves. So they've got a lot of speed they'll need to find if they want to try and even have a shot at the top 5, which they might now, but they need to go even faster than what they did. If you look at the lap times when they come up on your screen on the ticker on the left-hand side, the pack 7th, 8th, and 9th, Drew Chappell, Bryce Frank, Landon Melson, 103.2s. And then the drivers running by themselves without draft, Tyler Stevens, Caden Wolf in 4th, 5th, and 6th, as well as Macon Moore, they were 103 flats. So they were not going to get reeled in by 6th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th at all. Not to mention how big the gap is back from them. But obviously, without any battling up front, this is what our top 3 will look like here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, drivers like Stevens, they have that rabbit they need to chase. It's way better to chase somebody than to be chased. And he has that gauge to him, and now he knows what he's doing wrong, and if he can improve like lap after lap on these guys. I think Sally's starting to come in though too. She kept that gap real close now, and I think she just went purple that last lap. So I think she might start putting on a fight here.
Yeah, let's see what Sally Mott can do. Again, like you said, looking a little better. Not falling as far back from the group as she was, so maybe that Kart coming to her. Maybe she's getting a bit on her own, or maybe Mikey Boland's falling off a little bit because Boland was about a 10th off his best last time. And now you can see Sally Mott's on the bumper of Braxton Trigg. He signals to work together. Now that means one of two things. Either don't pass me, please, stay with the strategy, or I'm about to go past for the lead, and you can come with me if you want to, and I'd like your help. So that little hand signal for Braxton Trigg could mean one of two ways, and it might mean the leading for Mikey Boland is coming to a close. 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go into turn number 11. Boland still leads.
It looks like Sally Mott made just a little bobble coming out of 6th, and she lost just a little bit of ground. Not good for her, but it looks like, I think that Trey's going to make that move here pretty soon.
Yeah, into the hairpin here. Mikey Boland, Braxton Trigg, and Sally Mott out of the hairpin corner down the front straightaway. 6 minutes and some change plus 2 laps. So again, looking at about 8 laps to go here in this one, pushing to lap 19 or lap 20 by the time the checkered flag will fly for Mikey Boland and company. Through turns 4 and 5, they've now got nearly a 2-second cushion back to Tyler Stevens.
I will see if Braxton Trey's going to make that little hand signal. Maybe he'll make this move this time around, but it doesn't look like it here.
Now he'll keep that Comet Eagle lined up behind Mikey Boland. Not going to go by him there. Stays in tow as they work their way out of turn 6 and into 7. Single file as it's been most of this race here. Just counting down the minutes, counting down the laps. Long 18 minutes plus 2 laps here for these drivers. I'm sure they're happy that they're able to build up a bigger gap to the end of the race, but at the same time, they don't really need the whole distance. They've got the gap they need. You could throw the 2-to-go signal now, or you could throw it in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. I don't think you'll see any changes out of the top 3.
I don't think so either. I think they're just waiting for those 2 sticks to start duking it out. Yeah, I mean, they have plenty of time, and I think it's not going to really change much until those last 2 laps, like you said.
One thing that's interesting to me is the drivers back 4th, 5th, and 6th here. At least 4th and 5th might be closing up together a little bit. Tyler Stevens, last time by, was a little bit slower than Caden Wolf. Wolf picked up about 4 tenths on him, so Wolf is going to get there to challenge him for the 4th spot here before this one's said and done. And Macon Moore is lurking, but he's about a second and a half back. So those two will end up together here sooner rather than later with 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Up front, though, Mikey Boland's lead back to the group of 4th on back. 3 seconds now and counting here through turn 7.
I think one thing we can count on in this 206 race is the drivers have really good respect for each other. They race each other all the time, and I don't think it's going to get too fiery. I don't think anybody's really going to go off track like that. But I think it's going to be a really nice, clean race, and maybe Stevens will be able to catch up if they start battling, but I don't think it's going to get too crazy like that.
It'll be tricky here to see. We'll wait and see how it all could work out as the field heads out of that corner. Here's a look back at that group for 4th and 5th, like I just mentioned, tightening up a bit. Tyler Stevens pulled away from Caden Wolf, was still with the pack when Wolf dropped off. Now he's dropped off even harder in that high-five performance Bureau Art. So now he'll have pressure coming from Caden Wolf aboard the comp cart, and Wolf is there. He'll give him a little tap across the line. It keeps them at bay and away from Macon Moore. Moore has really faded in the last few stages. And Bryce Frank, Drew Chappell, Landon Melson, they just hit their best laps of the race. Now, they're 4/10 off the leader's pace, but they're even to these two. So a better start for the guys back 7th, 8th, and 9th. And they might have been able to get into the top 5.
I mean, it even looks like Stevens has fallen off a little bit. I mean, he was 0.3 slower than Caden Wolf that time, and even half a second in the lap previous. So, maybe Stevens is having a little bit of issues. Maybe the tires are going out just a little bit, but we'll see what Caden Wolf's able to do with that.
Yeah, the cart just kind of going away. And at this point, if you're Caden Wolf, you're kind of now in the strategy of Braxton Trey. Just keep on pushing Tyler Stevens. You don't need to go by him. You can go by him later. Just make sure that Macon Moore isn't able to play spoiler in your guys' battle for 4th coming to the checkered flag. We're coming down to the final bit of it here. A little over 3 minutes to go as the leaders round the final turn. Oh, prove that one wrong. Caden Wolf wants to go by Tyler Stevens. Maybe try and build a gap in the final few minutes of the race. So let's see what he can do. He was a little bit quicker. I don't think he's quick enough to shake him, but I could be wrong. Again, we've seen Tyler Stevens' cart fading. His lap times have been severely dropping off, so he might not be able to hold on to Caden Wolf in that comp cart, or the draft might keep him there. A couple laps here to find out.
Yeah, I'm not going to count Tyler Stevens out either. I mean, he's been fast all weekend, and he's shown some great speed all season even, so I don't think that he's really out of this race yet.
Through turn 6 for both of them, 4th and 5th. Again, Moore down in 6th. Bryce Frank, Drew Chappell, again, personal best of the session, 102.9s. They pulled away from Landon Melson, so they're kind of running their own little deal in 7th and 8th. Lots of 2- and 3-car packs around the racetrack inside the top 10. 3 drivers together up front. These 2 here together are 4th and 5th. Macon Moore is all by his lonesome in the 6th spot. Bryce Frank, Drew Chappell, again, 7th and 8th. Landon Melson's 9th. Ibrahim Deems up 3 spots into 10th. He's 11 seconds back from the next driver in Landon Nelson, but here we go, back up front, 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Mott's got a bit of a gap back to close up once again.
Yeah, not going good for her. Maybe she made a little bit of mistakes. I mean, she was, a couple tenths slower than them that last lap. Lost just a little bit of ground. But I think she's going to be able to make it back up. The draft is super powerful here, and I don't think that they're going to get too crazy there.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait here till the final few laps for the 206 seniors to get after it and battle for the lead and the win. Braxton Trey has just been riding out the laps here on what has been a banner season for the Louisiana native. Braxton Trey, a winner in New Orleans, had a consistent run through the championship. Ran up front here at SpeedSportz at the earlier stop for the 2nd round of the season. Then, of course, Amarillo, dominant weekend there with working together with Macon Moore to get the win. And then here, after the whole season rolls all the way through, ran through NTK from the back of the field, was good there as well. And now into the season finale, in contention for one more checkered flag. Nothing better than an exclamation point on a championship than a race win in the final race of the season.
For sure. I mean, he's super confident, I mean, I was talking to him the other day, and he was saying, he's like, I don't need practice, I mean, I'm just relaxing. I'm just here to race, have fun, and that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, he's showing why he was the best. He was the man to beat all season, and yeah, I think it's been a great season for him for sure.
I was talking to him a little bit earlier today, too. I'd love to see a kid like him that's proved himself in the 206 senior ranks to get a shot to go run up in the KA senior class presented by Exertec. You're seeing some of the top KA seniors around him, right? Tyler Stevens has been in the top 10 for a good bit of this weekend. Obviously, Drew Chappell has had good runs as well. We've seen those guys be able to run up front. I'd love to see what the likes of Braxton Trey could do with an opportunity to go run in the higher horsepower division that has national champions, obviously. Alex Stanfield, you get, pro shifter champion Jake French coming and running that class. Not that this class isn't filled with talent. It is. but it's another step up to go to those KA senior races, and a different strategy too, because while here you can't pull away as a single car or make up ground as a single car, you can do that when you give the drivers a little more horsepower. So he's got the strategy down from the racecraft side. I'd love to give him a little more horsepower, see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, he's a great driver, and I think everybody would welcome him coming into that KA class. I mean, he's definitely proved himself, like you said, and it also just proves that this LO206 ladder system really does work and really does help develop really good drivers. So it'll be interesting to see what he does next year.
He's got a lot of smoothness in the wheel and a really confident swagger to him, obviously. 2 to go coming this time by as the timer has hit 0. Mikey Boland, Braxton Trigg, and again, Sally Mott, who's been solid here on home turf this weekend. Qualified up front, made it onto the front row here for the main event. Good run in both heat races. She's lurking, needs them to fight for a little bit for the lead to give her an opportunity. When does Braxton Trigg want to go? I've seen good racecraft out of him, and Mikey Boland, we've been talking about everyone but him so far. He's led all the laps, got himself to the lead, and has not put a wheel wrong yet. But here's where the dancing begins. Coming across the line, double sticks in the air. 2 to go here in the 2022 season for 206 Senior, presented by Cruise Racing Development.
Here we go. I mean, I'm wondering when Tregg's going to make that move, and I'm not going to count Sally Mott out either. I think she's in a great spot. She's just going to have to watch this action unfold, and I think she's in a really, really good spot right now.
Again, the great opportunity for Mott and for Boland is they know Tregg's locked the title up, so there's no need to run him any bit less hard than you would any other driver on the racetrack this weekend. All three just going for the checkered flag. The championship's out the window. It's simply about the first one back to the stripe here in a lap and a half's time as the exit turn 9. No moves yet, no blocking yet for Mikey Boland. Surprised to see that. Over to turn 11, still single file, so it'll probably come to the final lap at this rate. There's, of course, the good passing zone in that final hairpin, but when does Mikey Boland want to start getting down on the low side, entering the corners, and close off that window of opportunity for Braxton Trigg? Because he's given him an entire lap to go by. Trigg didn't do it. What does the last lap look like here coming to turn 1?
It's going to look like defend, defend, defend. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I know that Tregg's going to try to make a move, but Boland's in a good spot. I mean, it's really easy to defend here and hold your position, and that's been proven all weekend. Let's see how he does it.
Down the backstretch here, Mikey Boland. Right behind him, of course, again, Braxton Trigg, bumper, pushing him. He signals back to Mott. That was another signal to say, all right, I'm going to go. Just wait. When does he go? Mott closes in. What does she do here? Still not really enough to do anything but mess with Trigg. She doesn't have the run to get up to the lead or fully get clear and not lose time. When does Trigg go? Again, Mikey Boland's run the normal line. He looked back. Trigg signaled he'll push him.
Oh.
Now he's going to go inside turn 11, and he gets clear. Mikey Boland, not sure why he wasn't blocking yet. Maybe he was hoping that he'd come down to the last lap, last corner, because that's what it's going to be. Trigg leads them, turn 13, leaves the door wide open. Oh, the brakes, runs him wide. Here comes Sally Mott. Braxton Trigg waves goodbye to the field and sails it into the offseason with a win in SpeedSportz.
Wow. There's that confidence right there.
There's some swagger. There is some extra confidence. A little bit of flaunting there for Braxton Trigg. Thank you very much. See you next year. Braxton Trigg concludes the championship here with a win. He a little knuckle tap to Mikey Boland. That was all in good fun. Of course, they're on the back straightaway just off camera. They're good. No worries there. Sally Mott ends up third, nearly gets Boland, or no, ends up second, gets Boland at the line as he got tripped up. He tried the inside on Trigg in the last corner, just didn't get it fully committed enough on the inside, and it hurt the momentum coming out. So Mott gets a P2 result at home. Good result for her. Boland on the box. Tyler Stevens beats Caden Wolf to the line by 100th of a second. That was close. We saw that coming back for 4th and 5th. Then it goes Drew Chappell in 6th. He gets by Bryce Frank late in the going, making more. Also falls back behind both of them. He really fell off at the end. An unfortunate ending for making more. Down to 8th. Landon Melson 9th. Ibrahim Dean rounds the top 10. And 206 Senior, presented by Cruise Racing Development, all the way for Braxton Trigg here to the end of the season. We'll be back with more 4T Concrete Pumping. KA Juniors up next.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com. And one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. See our products online. Go to odenthalracing.com.
So welcome back here to SpeedSportz Racing Park for the season finale of the Texas Sprint Racing Series live on Kart Chaser. KA100 Jr. has been dominated by one kid and one kid only. Elio Mesa, recently crowned U.S. Pro Kart Series national champion just 6 days ago in Newcastle, Indiana. And this week, he's been the kid to beat here in his home state of Texas. And he's set to bring his Iron Rock Motorsports teammate Cooper Shipman alongside and the rest of the 4T concrete pumping KA Junior field to the green in the tram lines. Here we go. We're underway, boys and girls. Green flag to turn 1, and he gets a nice start. Shipman's going to get shuffled back as they all pop the curbs in 3 and 4.
Ooh, a little shaky there for Shipman. He had the line going into turn 2, but it just looked like he got squeezed onto that top of that curb and bottled it down just a couple spots.
Landon Skinner with a great start into second. Good start. Is that Ivana Richards? What a fantastic start to the main event for Ivana. She's up to third, although Shipman trying to get on the inside of her. Runs her a little wide, opens the door for Diego Guillo. He doesn't get through, and the whole field somehow survives the opening lap.
Yeah, shame for Shipman. He's been so fast all weekend. We were wondering if he was going to be able to bring the fight up to Elio Mesa, but now he's got an uphill battle now.
Yeah, he's going to work the inside of Ivana Richards there in turn 11. He'll get by, so Ivana back to fourth. Shipman up to third. Behind him, there's Guillo. Then it looks to be Reagan Seville right in the 6th position. And Landon Skinner into second, and Elio Mesa will lead lap number 1 as the timer goes to the top right-hand corner of your screen, and we get the updated order of where they all land here with 1 lap in the books.
Yeah, we'll see what Skinner's able to do. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Mesa already almost 5/10 of a second quicker.
Yeah, Cooper Shipman's really got to dig deep here. He's got to get going right now to hold on to the coattails of his teammate. And again, Landon Skinner trying to do the same as there goes Diego Guillo. Nice pass on Ivana Richards. He'll take the 4th spot away. Richards back to 5th. Reagan Seville now the next one in line to go to work on Ivana as they go through turns 8 and 9.
Yeah, it's a great start from Richards. Just tough luck just going back there and just getting mobbed by all these kinds of hungry drivers.
Yeah, for sure. Cooper Shipman's at least pulled away a little bit from that group, but he hasn't been able to really get up to Landon Skinner just yet. They both are losing time to Elio Mesa. Here's a good idea of where the lap times will be when they come across to put 2 in the books. Mesa's second lap, first lap at full speed, 56.144, a 56.3 for his teammate Cooper Shipman, and a 56.5 for Landon Skinner. He's 2/10 plus on the field.
Yeah, Elio has just been untouchable all weekend, and it's showing now. I mean, nobody's really able to compete with him at this point. It's just been dominant all weekend and even all season as well.
I will say Diego Guillo was quick, and oh my goodness, Cooper Shipman, hello, down the inside of Landon Skinner, and really made sure that one got completed, but that one could have been very nasty for Cooper Shipman out of turn number 9.
And I think the race is on now. Let's see if Shipman's going to be able to catch Mesa. He's got plenty of time now to do it.
Yeah, look at this down the inside for Diego Guillo. Landon Skinner loses 2 spots here in half a lap. He drops back into 4th. Ivana Richards, the next one in line, as Skinner follows into 11. Here comes Ivana. Late move inside, cleared. Although a little crossover coming. Landon Skinner trying to get there, not enough.
Yeah, it's tough to get a good exit out of there if you pass somebody. You have to throw the cart in so late and so narrow. So, it's common to get over under after that corner.
Yeah, there they go through turns 4 and 5. Ivana Richards gets a spot back, 1 spot higher in the top 5. Cooper Shipman that time by 3/10 off the pace again of Elio Mesa, who's just on fire. Side by side, back behind. Landon Skinner back on Ivana Richards. Retakes that spot. Richards now under fire from Seville.
Oh,
Third goes Ivana Richards.
that's
She'll
tough.
try and hang on to it. She'll get knocked all the way down the order.
Yeah, that's just what happens when you're hanging around the outside, man. It's just tough luck, but you know you're not supposed to be there, and you know something's going to happen.
So she's trying to make up some spots now. Dirt on the tires. Gets one back near the back of the grid, but Ivana Richards was door-to-door with Reagan Seville. Tried to hang it, like you said, on the outside. Paid the ultimate price there out of turn 6.
Yeah, just not good luck for her.
So now we look back to the updated order with Richards down the order. Skinner 4th, Seville 5th, Santiago Duran's up to 6th. Working the back bumper of Reagan Seville. He's got Justin Music there with him. Music's up 4 spots from his spot on the grid from 11th up to 7th. Then it's Christian Gardino, Preston Pico, Graham Tremmel rounds the current top 10. Here comes Santiago Duran looking the inside on Seville. Gets through. Seville tucks in line behind him. Justin Music trying to go as well. And he does the same move there to Seville. A little bit of his own medicine, kind of giving it back to him a lap later. Justin Music up to 6.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Music's able to do. He's been really fast all weekend, just come into a little bit of problems through all the heat races, and I think he's really going to be able to settle in this time. You know, hopefully nothing crazy happens to him, but I think he's going to offer good results so far.
So there they go into the turn 14 complex, and that's kind of split out that middle grouping. Here's the group for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Cooper Shipman leads them. 2 seconds back already from Elio Mesa here, just 5 minutes into the show.
Yeah, I mean, Shipman was 3/10 almost slower than Mesa that time, and Mesa is still untouchable by even his teammate. It's going to be tough for anybody to try to beat him.
It will be tricky here for sure. It's now Cooper Shipman's got to worry more so about challenges coming from behind. That time, Diego Guillo looked like he might have been close enough for a dive down the inside, and Landon Skinner was also lurking as well. So they're all nose to tail for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here with 13 minutes plus 2 laps to go. A lot of time left here in this one. I don't think you'll see any big swings in terms of the gap from 1st to 2nd as Elio Mesa and Cooper Shipman. You got to imagine under the same operation, same tent, similar setups for both of them here this week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really does just come down to the driver. I mean, I'm not too sure, how much they test each, but I know that Mesa is constantly in the cart, so you know, he's definitely got the muscle memory from this track around.
And again, the big difference here, Cooper Shipman in a similar boat to Tyler Roberts. Couldn't afford to miss any more school, so had to stay in school Friday, then drive down here, book it as quick as they could down to the racetrack Friday night to get in for the heat race, and then to be here for tonight's action. He was, on the verge with how much racing they've all done over the summer and into the fall of missing too many days, and now he's going to miss out on the 2nd spot. Try to hang on for 3rd. Guillo gets by. Here comes Landon Skinner, crossover move, outside, inside, turn 8. Not able to get the crossover completed. He stays back and forth.
Yeah, Skinner tried to follow Guillo through, but it just didn't work out too well for him. I know that Guillo made that super late move, and I don't think there's much room for Skinner there.
Well, Cooper Shipman hangs on to the 3rd spot for now, and he's still only a kart length away from Guillo, so this battle far from over, but Elio Mesa continues to lead the way here coming out of turn number 14.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just a fight for 2nd at this point. I mean, unless Mesa makes a huge mistake or has a mechanical issue, I don't think that anybody's really touching him at this point.
No, I don't think so either here. He's done such a phenomenal job all weekend long, and again, looking to be in a really, really good spot to close out the championship for him at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. One drop round missing out on Amarillo, but he's been good everywhere else. I think with the maximum points scored this week, he could be in contention for the title. I don't know exactly where everybody stands after drops are factored in. As we see looking back, here's a couple of the ACI Mexico OTKs. This is back for 9th. Ivana Richards has climbed her way back into the top 10 and has gotten to the lead of this group out of her teammate and Christian Gardino. And they're just ahead of Graham Tremmel and Davis Cunningham there in that grouping, all the way back to Beckett Friesen aboard the Arcane Motorsports OTK.
Yeah, I mean, great job for Ivana Richards coming back from that little bobble that she had early in the race. I mean, getting through this pack is tough. I mean, I know that towards the back of the pack there is a bit of carnage, a bit of desperation these drivers drive with. So, I'm glad that she's got out and nice and clean and she's able to start pushing forward.
Yeah, she's been able to at least, just kind of get her whereabouts without her, kind of all back in order here in the 4T Concrete Pump and K Junior class. And she's got a lot of time left. It'll be tricky for her to run all the way up to the rest of the field, but she's closing in on Reagan Seville, the next driver in line. So we'll see how she treats the driver who was responsible for her going off the racetrack, or how she may have looked at it, or if maybe it was just a mistake on her end, staying on the outside. Meanwhile, back up to 2nd. Look at this. Cooper Shipman has gone back by Diego Guillo. So the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart driver back into second, and behind him, Santiago Duran and Justin Music are hunting down this trio. And with Shipman starting to block a little bit, they both will arrive on the scene to increase the battling for the final 2 podium spots to 5.
Yeah, I mean, Music's been fast. He's faster than all the people ahead of him right now. I think he's got a really good kart, and if he's, the leaders start battling a little bit more, then him and Santiago Duran are going to be able to catch back up and really make that a 5-kart fight.
Yeah, that could be massive there if they're able to get up to them. They gained another 3/10 another 10th that time by. Duran a 55.7. He's second quickest on the racetrack, only beaten by the race leader, Elio Mesa. Down the back, Cooper Shipman leads the group. He'll get a push from Guio. No change in it into turn 6.
And it looks like Shipman's just still blocking. A little early on, I know I saw him earlier in the race go down on the inside, try to defend that position. Maybe he's trying to back that pack up just a little bit, create a little bit of chaos behind him. We shall see.
Yeah, we might see it coming no matter what. Again, Duran and Music moving at the moment here under the lights as we're right at that halfway marker. 9 minutes down, 9 to go, plus 2 laps at the line this time by for Duran, Music, and the rest of the field as they are 5th and 6th, trying to close on into that 3-car grouping. Only about a second up the road from them. They can almost taste the draft off the back bumper of Landon Skinner.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one false move by that pack ahead of them, they'll be right back up there. I mean, I'm not too worried about them. They know the race is going to come to them eventually. They just need to keep pumping in those really good laps.
Here they go out of turn number 5 and down the backstretch. Still single file, and you can see Santiago Duran. He's digging forward, head behind the wheel, trying to close up to this group of 3.
Yeah, with that human DRS system. Hopefully it's working out a little bit well for him. As you see a little bit of jumble through that turn 7 there. It looks like a little bobble by Guio. Gave Cooper Shipman just a little bit of a gap coming through that double right-hander of 8 and 9.
Definitely open that gap up a little bit by about a kart length or so, and it stays at a healthy cushion where really the only place they might be able to get him is going to be the end of the back straightaway outside of a major late braking move, which Cooper Shipman's put a few of them. We were talking last race about drivers you'd expect to see a late braking move or not out of. Cooper Shipman's proven today all day long. He's not afraid, no matter how far back or how tight that hole is going to be, he will be able to find a way to put his kart down the inside.
Yeah, I mean, that turn 6 hairpin is not really like a conventional hairpin. It is kind of a little easy to throw. Just throw the kart in there super late anyway, just because of the way that the turn is even shaped.
Well, and you got that touch of banking there on the inside of the racetrack as well. The kart just kind of rips on the bottom side, and you got so much grip down there as the tires get worked with a higher roll speed.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun throwing a good amount of speed up in there.
Well, we look back here talking about speed. Justin Music has cracked the top 5. He's picked up another spot gotten by Santiago Duran. That's 6 spots gained for Justin Music on the Arcane Motorsports OTK.
Yeah, great drive so far for him. I mean, he's shown so much speed this weekend. Almost got a P2 in the first heat yesterday. Driving really well, and I think he really can put this together and get a really good result that he deserves.
Yeah, great looking weekend coming together here for Justin Music to close out his 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series. Again, he's one of the younger drivers in the field, one of the smaller drivers in the field like Santiago Duran. So you're looking at stars of the 2023 season more than likely right here. Elio Mesa, Cooper Shipman, veterans of the junior ranks. You'd imagine that both of them will be looking to move up into KA Senior in 2023. So, it'll open the door for some new faces to go towards the front. Landon Skinner, he's, I think, got an option here, and I believe Diego Guio's got at least 1, if not 2 more years left in junior.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think year after year, this junior field is always stacked and always provides really good racing, and I can't wait to see what these next generation of drivers are able to do.
Yeah, you just never know who's going to be the one to step up and fill the void, right? As soon as the big kids move out, you think, okay, the competition's gone, and just like that, another kid hits their stride and pulls away. Elio Mesa was a contender last year, no doubt, but then this year, another level. He's really elevated his game.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes even like drivers you don't really expect just start to pop off and do really well. So it'll be interesting to see like who is able to do that next year and be able to capitalize off of that loss of the front-running drivers.
Well, Diego Guio giving a little bit of a signal there to Cooper Shipman, says, keep on focus forward. Don't worry about me back here. I'll keep pushing you for now because I don't want to deal with Justin Music or Santiago Duran just yet. They're still losing time as a whole. Music was another 10.5 better than Cooper Shipman last time by with 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Shipman trying to hang on here to second. They've got company, unwanted company closing in on them here to make it a 5-way fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think these three really understand that there is chaos coming behind them, and so I think they know that they need to start working together, try to keep that gap getting a little bigger, but we'll see if it even works. I mean, I know that Music and Duran are quite quick right now. So
and again, talk about a gap getting bigger. Elio Mesa, 4.5 seconds out in front. Every lap just finds another 1/10 of a second to continue to add to the advantage. What an awesome performance here for this kid in the 827. He's just on fire here in 2022.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely one of the best drivers in Texas. Constantly proves himself, and it's such dedication to the sport. And it is really awesome to see that he's finally getting the recognition he deserves.
Yeah, he's put in the hard work here. It is paying off. Again, not to overshadow his teammate Cooper Shipman for a little seat time here this week, to also be running really well, and the AR Academy drivers lined up behind him. But Elio Mesa, class of the field here since the drop of the green in qualifying, and he's again built a gap of over 5 seconds against some top junior talents, not just in the state, obviously, but that have podiumed and run up near the front of the fields on the national stage as well. Out of the final turn, Shipman leads them. You can see Music's now going to get some drafting help off Landon Skinner as he starts to fade. So we are loosely tied now at 5 in total, with 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it looks like Guio is starting to work with Shipman just a little bit more. Maybe he doesn't want Skinner behind him. Maybe that teammate aspect is kind of dwindling away now.
Yeah, hard to tell here as Elio Mesa is gone. Cooper Shipman, little shot there into turn 6. We saw the teammates battle and let Shipman get away in heat number 2 at the end as they fought for second. Guio, Duran, and Skinner. Now, Duran was the one that started the passing. He was the first one to go. Ultimately didn't end up getting the spot at the line with the way it all shook out. But Guio and Skinner seem to be kind of content to, work with each other and keep Cooper Shipman in their sights. So I'd be surprised to see it, but also not too surprised if they start the fighting for third before they can involve Cooper Shipman in the fight for second.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the best idea to fight amongst themselves. They know that they have to get Cooper Shipman. They don't want to let him get away. They want that good result for their team, and it's definitely possible if they work together to get past him.
They just got to be careful here about Justin Music on the way. That's the only incentive, I would say, for Landon Skinner to make a move, because if he doesn't go, he'll be the first victim to fall to Justin Music's Arcade Motorsports OTK. That card is closing in. He's a half car length back now from Landon Skinner as they exit turn 7.
Yeah, and I think that Justin Music is no stranger to throwing in that move. I mean, he's always going to try to make it, and he's super aggressive, and he's just wild behind the wheel. And, it's very entertaining to watch, and it's cool. He's a fast driver.
Well, he's right there on Landon Skinner on the bumper. They've gotten a little bit of a gap to Cooper Shipman. Does he go here in the last turn? No, he gives him a nice little gap going in. And I believe blue flag's going for some lap traffic ahead of down the road in front of Elio Mesa. We'll see if this pack's going to get to them. Cooper Shipman across the line. 2 minutes plus 2 laps here, headed through 2 and 3.
Well, I'm excited to see what's going to happen down the straightaway. They're all finally bunched together. I mean, they've been waiting. Justin Music, what a move.
Nice, and lost 0 time.
Caught
in that
sleeping.
Perfectly timed move on Landon Skinner. Now he's got to hold it into 6. Skinner stays behind. Shipman goes a little bit low to kind of cover off the move. Music trying something on Diego Guio. Not going to work out this time, though.
Got to be more patient, man. It's too early for all those inside moves. Try to get the switchbacks. I mean, you're letting Cooper Shipman get away.
Yeah, well, let's see what he does in 11. Does he go here? He'll stay behind. Guio goes in deep. Pass made by Santiago Duran. Another spot on Landon Skinner. Duran gets into the top 5.
Yeah, it's just like you were talking about earlier. I mean, Skinner should have made that move earlier, and so he wouldn't have had to deal with Duran. Oh, great move again by Music.
Yeah, but a little hip check on the way by. They got tripped up by each other. It really cost Diego Guio, and now Justin Music has Duran back on his tail and a gap to make up to Cooper Shipman with only 1 minute and 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a little early to be fighting like that. Now they're letting Shipman get away. I mean, maybe they'll be able to catch him if they get a draft and start working together just a little bit for these last few laps. But we'll see how it plays out.
Santiago Duran has seen the gains they've made together, so he's being patient right now with Justin Music, pushing him to go catch Cooper Shipman. So good to see that here. He's seeing the progress. He wants to give him a shot to run down the kid in second. That's the highest spot they'll get. Elio Mesa's lead over 6 seconds now as the timer will run out next time by. So we are going to see 3 to go, I believe, at the line, which is good news for Justin Music and Santiago Duran. Not the best news for Cooper Shipman. He wants this thing to end as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he does not want them to catch him. I think he knows that Music and Duran behind him are faster than him at certain points. And so he's just trying to hit all of his marks currently and just be consistent now.
Give another 1/10 of a second to Justin Music. He's closing in on Cooper Shipman there for P2. Half a second back. He'll get the toe down the backstretch. Duran's fallen off him a little bit. This will close in on that final spot, 2 spots on the podium. And don't count out Landon Skinner and as well Diego Guillo to kind of rebound and try to get there. Skinner staying glued on the rear bumper of Santiago Duran.
Music is hauling, man. He is on rails right now. I really do think he's going to put up a really good fight against Cooper Shipman. He's been relishing this battle all weekend, I feel like.
And this will be, again, a big boost to confidence, right? Cooper Shipman, national podiums, national wins. The same for Elio Mesa. As for Justin Music, he hasn't really broke out onto the scene yet. So for him to go toe-to-toe with 2 veterans, probably on their way up to the headline K senior class next year, this would be awesome for him to at least knock one of them off the box or one of them a little lower. 2 to go.
Absolutely. Man, it's going to be interesting. We'll see if Cooper Shipman decides to defend. We know he likes to defend really early just to bunch up that pack, and we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how he does it.
Here he goes. Big run coming. 1 car length back from Shipman. Shipman knows it. He'll go low to block. Does Music try to go lower? No, Shipman's going to go way low. He'll take the low side away. Music went high. Turn 7, goes high again. Tries to cross him up. Duran's being patient. When does Duran try to stuff the inside of Music?
Right
Music's going to go all the way to the outside. He's going to still be there at the end of the corner. Oh, my goodness.
What a way to hang it around. Oh, my gosh.
And I'm surprised he pulled it off. Kudos to Cooper Shipman for giving him the space. And Duran gets through for 3rd. That's a gift and a half for Justin Music. Coming to the white flag with a 2-car length cushion.
Great drive by Music. He's always had problems with hanging around the outside, but this one time it actually works for him. Great job for him.
Now, Cooper Shipman's got to fight to get back onto the podium. Santiago Duran's got a fight coming to the doorstep. 3rd, here going into the final lap. 2nd, and Justin Music has gotten away since he had to block a little bit. Here comes Cooper Shipman. Big run down the backstretch on the way. Duran knows it. Music is safe there in 2nd. Where is the fight for P3 going into the corner? Shipman deep in the brakes. He gets there.
Wow, what control he had on the brakes there. He took it super deep and made it stick perfectly. Great job by him.
So there they go through 8 and 9 here. We'll keep an eye on the fight for 3rd as up the road, Elio Mesa. What an awesome job here today as they go to 11 to block there for P3. Elio Mesa, what an end to the Texas season. What an end to his national season. Ends off 2022 with another main event win here in Houston. And out of the final turn, look at this. Shipman hangs on for 3rd. He got by Duran and 6th. And Justin Music, his best career result in the Texas Sprint Racing Series, P2 for the Arcade Motorsports OTK driver. Cooper Shipman puts it in Iron Rock, 1-3 on the podium. Look at this, nearly 3 wide across the line, back at the edge of the top 10.
Yeah, great drive by Music. He was really, really fast all weekend. I think he definitely deserved this. Great confidence boost for him. Congrats to him and his family.
Awesome run through the field for Justin Music. And again, a fantastic way to end off the regional season for Elio Mesa. Ended off his national season, national regular season just a week ago in Newcastle, Indiana. And of course, now he sets his sights on that SCUSA Super Nationals 25 main event victory. That would be huge to cap off what's been a banner year for the KA Junior Texas-based driver. So the heart of Texas here coming out in Justin Music's drive, a heroic drive through the grid from outside the top 10, gains 9 spots, gets onto the podium here with his best career finish in the Texas Sprint Racing Series in KA Junior. We wrap them up. Still 4 classes coming your way here. Next up, move on to Group 6, 206 Cadet, presented by Ferris Mowers.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USBKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at mikedotyracing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
Welcome back to Houston for the Texas Sprint Racing Series finale. 206 Cadet presented by Ferris Mowers, making its way into the final couple staging lanes. It's a couple drivers had some issues on the outlap, but we've got them all sorted and ready. Derek Wargo will start on the point alongside Jackson Young to make up a trackside karting services lockout of the front row. Row 2 will be Aston Wyatt in that Allen Rudolph Racing Academy Beer Lark. To his outside, Paxton Dyson and the number 222 machine. Then it's Thomas Smith and Sawyer Chambers, Chris Tracy, Tyrone Kemper Jr., Josie Chambers, Tristan Young. We're green down to turn 1, and there goes the inside lane. Aston Wyatt trying to get clear, and he gets turned in front of the field. And around goes Aston Wyatt. He'll collect Paxton Dyson as well, and one more, all off the racetrack at turn 3. Oh, man, and both of them are stuck in the dirt. What an awkward and unfortunate ending here to the season. It looked like he was just trying to get clear into second, and Aston Wyatt goes around. Dyson gets collected, and so it's Derek Wargo, Jackson Young, and that might be one of the Chambers up there. I think it was a great start for Sawyer Chambers. He might be all the way up into third, if I'm not mistaken. So what a great start for him into turn number 11 for the very first time. And now out of 11 as they go up the short chute run over towards the mechanics stand. Hairpin here, the final couple corners on the racetrack. Great run in the works for Chris Tracy on that 224 Cruise Racing Development Beer Lard. He's right behind Thomas Smith as they all go down the front stretch here, trailing the Parolin machine. That is going to be, I believe, there's Josie Chambers with a good run. So Josie Chambers actually the driver who avoided all the chaos from 9th on the grid into 3rd. Tristan Young with a great start as well into 4th on the Parolin. And then we go back to find Thomas Smith, Chris Tracy, Noah Gibson. Sawyer Chambers actually got burned a bit on the start on the outside. He drops into 8th, but off the start, Riley already losing Paxton Dyson and Aston Wyatt get collected as Wyatt was side by side for second and got turned in front of the field. Oh, there goes Tristan Young. He gets turned out of turn 7. So Young goes around, and I believe Thomas Smith was kind of riding with them, so they all lose time, and chaos here in the opening few stages of the 206 Cadet main event.
Man, my goodness. I just went to the bathroom, and I missed so much already. This race is only, what, 2 laps old now? So,
yeah, it's a long start. Long main event, and I'm not sure if everyone told the youngsters that ages 7 to 12 years old in 206 Cadet, presented by Ferris Mowers. 16 minutes plus 2 laps still to go. A lengthy main event. And it might be really long from a spectator's point of view because now we've got so many drivers that were in contention knocked out. Tyrone Kemper Jr. got knocked back in that opening crash as well. Paxton Dyson, Aston Wyatt, they eventually got back going. They're more than half a track behind. So Chris Tracy now up into the top 5, looking for help. Gears up to 3rd. What a great run for Josie Chambers. Josie is digging. He is the fastest driver on the racetrack and is locked onto the rear bumper of Jackson Young.
Yeah, hopefully they start working together to catch up to Derek Wargo up front. And I think they can do it. That draft is so crucial in these classes. I mean, we've been seeing it all weekend. So, I think they definitely have a good chance to take the fight to Derek Wargo.
Out of 11 and 12 here, Jackson Young leading Josie Chambers. They are roughly 9/10 of a second back from the lead, but we've talked about it in 206 Senior. We'll see it later tonight in 206 Junior. It's the same story in 206 Cadet. No matter how fast you are alone, two will almost always be faster than one. You don't see it as much in the higher horsepower classes, but you see it here at SpeedSportz in the 9 horsepower divisions. That's your mini, your micro, and your 206 classes here. So these two working together, they'll make some serious headway. That time by Josie Chambers, quickest overall by about 1/10 and a half. If he can work with Jackson Young, they can make up some headway, or he wants to go by him, looking, trying to go to the inside. Young's going to let him have it easily there in 6. He's not trying to fight it. They're just trying to hang on to the coattails of Derek Wargo.
Yeah, I think Jackson Young knew the assignment here. I mean, he knew that he didn't want to have to fight him too much and lose too much space to the leaders, but I did not expect Josie Chambers to make a move like that so early on.
Well, when you got that much speed and then you haven't had it all weekend, that you're just kind of elated with confidence on cloud 9 right now for Josie Chambers. Awesome start from the back of the grid, just barely inside the top 10. He's up 7 spots now to second, best he's run all weekend long, and he's a second away from the lead in the win.
Man, what a great time to pull out your best stuff. I mean, this is where all the marbles count. The last race of the season, and yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a great race so far.
I mean, even with the pass, 4/10 better than the leader, down to 7/10 away. He is hauling the mail right now out of turn number 5, and at least for Jackson Young's sake, he's hanging on to the draft right now. He's not losing touch too bad with Josie Chambers, so we'll get a 3-car pack here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing how important it is to have a draft compared to not having a draft. I mean, Derek Wargo is usually, one of the guys that's going to be able to pull away, if he has a partner like that. And right now he's just missing that one tandem partner, and it's showing.
Yeah, so no drafting help for Derek Wargo. Has him as a sitting duck, waiting for the field to catch up to him, it looks like, because, again, Josie Chambers and Jackson Young are all closing in. Hate to see it for, again, so many drivers taken out early. Tristan Young, Paxton Dyson, Aston Wyatt, all collected early on in incidents in the first 2 laps. Out of the final turn, great there exit for Jackson Young. He'll close up to Josie Chambers, and that's going to have them hooked up on the backstretch this time. You can bet that gap's going to get eaten up quickly.
Oh, yeah, very soon it's going to be a 3-horse race, and I'm welcoming that. It's going to be really entertaining for us to watch, and, yeah, we shall see.
Will not be a runaway, that's for sure. Another 3/10 or another 10th lopped off, 6/10 now. Let's see the run here for Jackson Young. He'll tuck his head behind the wheel, close up. Big shot to the rear bumper of Josie Chambers. And Chambers also benefiting off the toe of Derek Wargo now. It's down to 3 car lengths away through turn 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Jackson Young didn't try to make a move there. He had he had the space there, but that just shows you that he knows what he's doing, and he knows he's got to keep working.
So over to turns 10 and 11 into the hairpin here. We've got, again, still the top 3 and a big gap out back, about 3.5 seconds back to Chris Tracy. Noah Gibson also. Shout out to Noah. 6 spots gained into the top 5 for Noah Gibson as the leaders exit the final corner. Let's see what Josie Chambers does now with a big run coming. He'll have an opportunity, if he wants, his first chance to try and lead this 206 cadet field this weekend. It'll be coming at turn 6 at the end of the backstretch. What does he do with it? Does he stay in line, or does he go by on Derek Wargo to lead some laps here? We're still not yet halfway, 11.5 minutes to go. Big run, looking for help from behind. Here it comes, big push to the bumper, looking inside.
Big send.
Josie Chambers to the top spot in turn 6.
Yeah, I think that was shown a couple laps ago. I mean, he's not going to wait around for this pass. He's going to make his move exactly when he sees it. So it's yeah, not a surprise there.
Nice recovery from Derek Wargo. He was able to put his trackside karting services, Kart Republic, just right behind Chambers and slot in line ahead of Jackson Young. So the two TKS drivers, 2nd and 3rd, with, again, a big, healthy gap out back to Chris Tracy and Noah Gibson. Sawyer Chambers currently running in the 6th spot. Josie having a great day. The other Chambers brother down in 6th. Solid start, decent run. Not as much pace, but good pace for sure. Thomas Smith, 7th. Tyrone Kemper Jr. on the comeback drive is still 8th. Benton Hale, 9th. Tristan Young is 10th at the moment. here with a little under 8 minutes elapsed so far.
Man, it's interesting to see that Wargo is starting to work with Josie Chambers just a little bit, and maybe that they might end up leaving Jackson Young. You know, Jackson doesn't really have as much driving partners, and as we've seen in that 206 senior race, that just because there's 3 drivers in a pack does not mean that third driver is going to get that much of a benefit.
No, that third driver has to be perfect, right? Because when the first and second drivers hook up and start pushing, if the third driver makes any mistake, he won't be able to benefit off the slipstream, because second slipstream is just going to go right back into the rear bumper of first, and they'll pull away. So, you know, he's got no safety net, is the best way to describe it here. He is strictly on his own and needs to make sure that he drives a flawless race, flawless lap to be able to stay right with the top 2 until he decides to pass for second. Then once he does, he's got a pusher behind. He can make a mistake if he needs to.
No, for sure. I mean, and Jackson Young's proved it all weekend that he's been fast, he's been consistent, and you know he's really kept himself from making too many mistakes as he goes purple that lap. So he definitely has that speed. So he looks like he's going to be here for the long run.
Yeah, that was a great exit out of the final turn for Jackson Young. And now this is the point when you don't really pay attention too much to the best lap times of the top 3 between each other, because it's just going to rubber band from where they start the lap to where they end it in terms of raw speed. Unless third starts to drop off the pack, who gets the fastest lap of the race is just going to come down to timing, really. And where they started the lap, where they ended it, they're all going to run roughly the same lap times as a whole. So good for Jackson Young to get the purple lap time. It might not get bested here all the way to the end of the session unless he backs up again. Here's a look a little further back on the field. This is the battle for 4th. So they've all kind of tightened up. Sawyer Chambers has gone all the way up to the head of this group. So both the Chambers brothers running really good here in this main event as he gets a knock from behind. From Chris Tracy and Noah Gibson in line there in the Kart Racing Solutions I believe he's in the high 5 Tony Kart. I'll have to identify which one, but the Tony Kart driver in 5th, and then right behind him, that is Noah Gibson or Thomas Smith, I believe, in the 209 Nitro Kart. So 4th back to 7th here coming across the line at the halfway mark.
A little sketchy coming out of that hairpin. You do not want to get bumped like that, especially in the middle of the corner. This ruins all your momentum, ruins what all the RPMs that your engine has spooled up, and yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell on the exit there they lost a lot of time.
And we've seen plenty already this weekend of tiny little minor accidental contact resulting in spins and heavy crashes here. We saw it at the start of this race already as we see Thomas Smith challenging Noah Gibson. He gets by on the inside there for the 6th position.
Yeah, great move there. He knows he's got to make his move and catch up to those people ahead.
So good move there for Thomas Smith as he tries to lock on to Chris Tracy now. Stay in touch with the CRD Barrel Art driver headed into turn number 11 and pushing Sawyer Chambers. Chambers runs a little bit wide, but both Chambers brothers up the order against Sawyer's up 2 spots. Josie from back in 9th leading the way here for the first time all weekend with 7.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, all day today, those Chambers brothers have been showing their speed. They didn't really have much yesterday, but now they're on it. They're on it now, and yeah, they're making headway.
Yeah, best results they've been in so far this week, so good stuff for them, especially in Josie's case here, running with Derek Wargo and Jackson Young. We hadn't really seen anyone run with those 2 drivers besides Aston Wyatt, and of course Wyatt taken out on the opening lap, unfortunately. He pulled in early, so his weekend will end here tonight in 3 laps in 206 cadets. There goes Thomas Smith. Another spot gained into the top 5 for the Nitro Kart.
Yeah, it is tough to see from Aston Wyatt. He's just been so good all weekend, been super fast, and always been a contender for that win. And it really is just tough to have that opening lap incident like that.
Yeah, definitely tricky for Aston Wyatt. So we go now on into the hairpin section once again for this group of 4. We're not seeing any passing up at the front of the field, which is why we got our camera a little bit further back. Still all Josie Chambers, Derek Wargo, Jackson Young, back to kind of that teamwork racing. We'll see probably till the double sticks come out, which we're not terribly far from. 6.25 minutes to go left here in this main event.
Yeah, this pack's tightened back up. It's always a good battle with these groups. You know, all the kids like to fight each other, and you know there is a little bit of respect there, but it is also super hard racing. We just love to watch.
So out of turns 4 and 5, down the back here once again. Nice leading the way for Sawyer Chambers. His lap times a little bit off the pace of Josie up front. And now Thomas Smith takes advantage of that. He goes by into turn 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like that effect of, you might be fast, but when you're stuck with people that could be slower than you, you're just going to end up going the same pace as them anyway, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of who you ride with, right? You could have a car that could be winning. You could have a car that could be at the same time qualifying in the mid-pack, running in the mid-pack. Lots of bumping and shoving there as Chris Tracy gets knocked out of the way by Noah Gibson with the accordion reaction.
Man, everybody just loves bumping and running in that corner. It's funny.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit there. We've seen a few here in that hairpin, and again, these corners are like, they're tight enough, right, where you can kind of knock someone out of the group, but they're fast enough that when you hit them at high speeds, it doesn't spin them and it doesn't like send them really off the racetrack. We've seen a lot of like punts, but we've definitely seen our fair share of bump and runs here this weekend.
Especially in that hairpin as well. I mean, it's a little tough to pick your braking zone. It's hard to be consistent because it changes so much as the tires wear and the tires heat up and as the track cools down as well.
And we've seen a lot of different lines too, right? You can see a number of drivers running similar lap times, being a half car width narrower or wider on entry or exit or both in a lot of these corners. And that's a cool characteristic of this racetrack, the way that it's, developed over time as everyone's found ways to be faster around it. But by having varying lines just a little bit, you end up with different braking markers. Again, here you see Thomas Smith in a little bit deeper and kind of went a little bit wider on exit compared to Sawyer Chambers there. So understandable that Thomas Smith got into the back of him. And then for Noah Gibson, same thing, a little bit deeper into the corner than Chris Tracy.
Oh, yeah. And look at Sawyer Chambers and Thomas Smith. They're working pretty well together, starting to build a gap up to Gibson and Tracy.
Yeah, they're doing a good job here. Up front, look at this. Here's your update back at the leaders. Josie Chambers continues to lead. Derek Wargo second. We talked about how Jackson Young did not have a safety net. He's a couple tenths back at the moment. He pulls up on the long straightaway, but he's not on their bumper like he was earlier.
It looks like he does pretty well through the infield. He just loses that drafting partner like we were talking about. It's so crucial in these races.
Yeah, exactly here. As they go down into the hairpin, 3 car lengths apart between the top 2, and then back to Jackson Young. So Jackson Young now on the verge of losing a shot at the win with 3.5 minutes to go. You can see Derek Wargo checking the gap out back. If he keeps pushing Josie Chambers away, he'll make it a 2-horse race and really puts him in a much more comfortable spot to fight for the win, because you can't look over your shoulder and look forward at the same time.
For sure. I mean, now he has that space cushion behind him. He doesn't have to worry about Jackson Young for too much. He knows that they're going to start pulling away, and so now we can just focus on the fight ahead and really fighting for that win with Josie Chambers.
Yeah, so that could be great news again here for Josie Chambers and Derek Wargo. Maybe not the best news for Josie. He might have wanted to have a third driver in the mix to add some pressure to second, but great news for Derek Wargo and the number 2 TKS Kart Republic, because, again, it just makes it that much more stress-free and puts the ball that much more in his court of what this final lap duel will look like. No need to kind of defend for second. He can go wide. He can open up anywhere he wants to when the leader starts blocking to find a way around him and not worry about getting dive bombed.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Wargo is definitely in the commanding position right now. Even though he is in second place, the race is pretty much in his hands because it's going to pop off whenever he decides to make a move.
Exactly. He is in total control of the field as they work their way down the front stretch towards the S's here. 1, 2, and 3. 2.5 minutes to go plus 2 laps.
And Wargo goes purple that time. Looks like he's coming in a little bit. He's been pushing Josie Chambers around. They're pulling away super well, so I think they're both coming in perfectly.
Here they go down the backstretch. Josie Chambers, Derek Wargo, first and second. Fastest 2 laps on this of the field on that specific lap that time. So awesome stuff for them. A 101.4 apiece compared back to a 101.9 for Jackson Young. So he's long gone now here outside the toe, out over a second back from the top 2, and they've got another 2 laps or 3 laps even. They could really continue to add on to that margin.
Yeah, I mean, it's through no fault of his own really for Jackson Young that he's fallen off like this. He just doesn't have anybody to work with. I mean, this odd number of karts here is just not working his way. He doesn't really have that tandem guy to hang out with.
No, he does not. As they go out of the hairpin here, out of 14 and 15, down the front straightaway, Josie Chambers, Derek Wargo, 1.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. You can see Jackson Young just barely into frame when we zoom out a little bit. He's falling out of the picture, 1.6 seconds back as of last time by.
Wow, what a quick fall off. I mean, it really is just falling flat on his face now. I mean, it's not fun to see, but it's just tough for him.
Unfortunate. He's had such a great weekend so far. Jackson Young has. Derek Wargo obviously has been up at the front just as much. And Josie Chambers, again, we talk about turning it up here late in the going. He's looking solid aboard that nitro cart under the lights and one of the cool parts about the night racing, and especially that shot we got low to the ground in turns 6 and 7, you could see right into the driver's eyes. No tinted visors, and Josie Chambers, that kid is focused at the moment here on trying to get himself a checkered flag.
He is eating right now, really putting in the best laps he can. Really hasn't put a foot wrong all race so far. So, I mean, he's driving super well. Definitely deserves a shot at this win.
30 seconds to go when they come across the line. So they will get 3 more laps around SpeedSportz Racing Park here in Houston in the 2022 season for Ferris Mowers 206 Cadet. And it'll be a 2-way battle to the end. Derek Wargo versus Josie Chambers. They've got 2.5 seconds to boot back to Jackson Young. Then that group back in 4th. Thomas Smith, Sawyer Chambers, Chris Tracy, Noah Gibson. They're still all together. Paxton Dyson's comeback drive has him up to 8th. That's solid for him. He's gone by Tyrone Kemper Jr. Unfortunately, with how long it took for him to get out of the grass on that opening lap, he won't get anything more than that, about 10 seconds away from that 4-car pack for 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I also wouldn't count Jackson Young out completely just yet, you know. Maybe there could be something crazy that happens between Chambers and Wargo, and it could bring Jackson back into this, but the distance is looking quite long now.
Yeah, it really just comes down to when, Derek Wargo wants to make that bid for the lead and the win. You know, how early does he want to push? How hard does he want to go? And how many laps does he want to spend passing? He's only got 2 left. When does he want to get into the lead to be the one to cross the start-finish line as the leader at the checkers? 2 to go here in SpeedSportz.
I wonder when Wargo's going to make his move. I think he's going to wait to that last lap. We've seen that before in those previous races that he's raced in, and he's very patient. He's not a stranger to working with anybody.
So he'll push Josie Chambers down the backstretch. Chambers, normal line, not going to block yet. They're going to take their time. 2 to go, and again, maybe wait till the very end of the lap. These kids have gotten to watch the 206 seniors go at it, see how they strategically played it out, seen a little bit in the mini and the micro class. First-hand action, I believe, for both of them. So all that combined and noted, they kind of know where they want to be and what these last laps look like in these 2-car, 2-way head-to-head battles. Coming to the white flag this time. Still no passing yet. Josie Chambers a lap away from a big-time win and a walk-off here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series.
Yeah, this chess match is getting real exciting now. I mean, they're just waiting on somebody to make a move. I mean, will Josie Chambers defend first, or will Derek Wargo make his move first? It's really just on who's going to choose to, go for it.
Again, you're just trying to guess what the other driver's going to do and be one step ahead of them. Blue flags here for lap traffic up the road as well. That could play a factor into it. That's going to be Benton Hale, I believe. He moves out of the way, lets the leaders go, and a late move from Derek Wargo gets the lead in turn 6.
Great move. I mean, did not expect that to happen so late. Super deep on the brakes and just kept it stuck there. Great job.
Yeah, awesome stuff there for Derek Wargo. 2 cars back now to Josie Chambers, headed through turns 8 and 9, over to 10 and 11. Derek Wargo's got a 2-car length gap, but he gets a little bit sideways. That's going to open the door. Here comes Josie Chambers. One more run at it. Final couple turns of the season. Chambers still too far back to go to the inside. So normal line for Wargo. Chambers with a big run. Can't get alongside. He'll be on the bumper across the line. At the line. Whoa. Wargo.
That was close.
By 37 thousandths of a second. Josie Chambers. Still one heck of a performance here. He ends up P2. Jackson Young 3rd. Here comes that 4-car group. It's all split apart. Across the line, Sawyer Chambers will hold on to 4th. Thomas Smith 5th. Noah Gibson 6th. Something happened to Chris Tracy on this final lap in the Nitro Kart. He's going to drop down the order. Promotes Paxton Dyson up to 7th behind Gibson. Tyrone Kemper Jr. to 8th. Chris Tracy, I believe, will get credited either with 9th or 10th. The header behind a Tristan Young. But man, oh man, Derek Wargo, nail biter to the end, holds on, gets the win.
Played that game perfectly. It's just a chess match like that.
Exactly. So with that, only 3 main events remain in the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series season, and it's time for the crazy old men to get after it. K Master, presented by Kart Racing Solutions. Vincent Clement looking for his first career TSRS win. He's got his first TSRS main event pole award. He'll lead them off when we come back.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Welcome back here live from Houston, and it's time for the Kart Racing Solutions KA100 Masters drivers to throw down one more time here this year. Riley, there were fireworks in that second heat. There were a few in the first heat. A lot of top contenders starting from deep in this field.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see guys like Lundberg and what's his name?
Morgan LeBaron.
Morgan LeBaron starting towards the back. I mean, this is their home track. It'll be interesting to see how many passes they'll be able to make and how many spots they'll be able to make up.
Again, Vincent Clement's been quick this week, and he got himself a heat win earlier today. Neil Faulkner was just the big benefactor, kept his nose clean, put him on the front row. Here we go. We're racing down to turn one. Faulkner with the advantage into the first corner. He'll take the lead away. Clement goes back to the outside into three in a row.
Oh, no.
Faulkner, everybody's off. Everyone wide in turn three.
That's going to spread everybody out now. Robbie Mott's in a great position. Look at that. Mott and Miguel Mir 2-3 right now. So that'll be an interesting fight to see later on in this race.
Oh my gosh, the carnage just doesn't stop coming our way here in KA Master. So it's Vincent Clement that leads. Robbie Mott in second. Miguel Mir in third. Already those two had a run in the second heat. And Mir trying to close in on Mott to make sure his championship hopes stay alive here. He had a small, slim advantage on him coming into the weekend of the point standings. Every position matters right now. As for Vincent Clement, he's focused on trying to get that first career TSRS win. How hard is he going to fight for it? We've got 17 minutes and 2 laps to find out. 1 lap complete. Vincent Clement leads the way down the front stretch.
Yeah, Vincent Clement has been driving so well all weekend. He's had the speed. He's been in the right place at the right time. But it looks like Robbie Mott is just coming for him, man. He's got the speed early on.
He's closing in here. A car length back as they exit turn number 5. Down the back straightaway here. Vincent Clement tucks his head down. Mott's got a big run on him. Takes a look back. Checks Mir. Going to go to the inside for the lead. Robbie Mott's through in turn 6. Mir's trying to close up as well, but Robbie Mott to the point here on home turf.
Yeah, I mean, Mott wasted no time getting around Clement. He knows he's got his championship rival, Miguel Mir, right behind him, charging. You know, looking for some redemption after these past 2 heats that really didn't go his way. So he's looking for a good result here, and it's going to be really interesting when sparks start to fly.
Here's a flip of the script from Amarillo, right? We were used to that main event. Robbie Mott trying to hunt down Miguel Mir for the win. How about swap roles? Miguel Mir trying to hunt down Robbie Mott. And again, don't count out Vincent Clement. That Cruise Racing Development OTK is still between them, not losing a ton of time just yet. He's 2 car lengths back at the end of the lap.
I mean, he looks like he has the speed. He just went a little too deep in that last corner, bogging down just a little bit. But it looks like he's going to catch back up here with that draft on the back straightaway.
Yeah, he'll be in a good spot here out of turn number 5. So what does Clement do when he gets back to the bumper? Robbie Mott, will he push him? He's tucking. Big run. Will close up a little bit. Not enough to get a move done, though, into turn number 6.
I'm interested to see if when Miguel gets up to Vincent, if he's going to try to fight him at all. You know, those 2 guys are teammates, so, you know, maybe he won't put up too much of a fight so they can bring the fight, you know, take the fight to Robbie Mott.
And I hope Robbie Mott's rear end is just that much slower on the ride height. I don't know about you, Riley, or if it's the night playing tricks on me. That bumper for him just looks loose. Like one little bit of contact, that thing could get knocked off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's sparking over almost every corner. I mean, we're seeing it lap after lap now. So that is interesting.
Yeah, again, it's not been hit in any way. I don't think it's, you know, in any which going to fall off. And maybe, again, just a lower rear ride height for Robbie Mott here tonight. That's got that rear bumper a little bit lower to the ground than what looks to be his competitors. But it's something to be aware of as we look towards, you know, the RG racing. We've seen out of the top drivers in KA Master, there's been a lot of contact tonight. You kind of want to make sure your cart's a little bit bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, any little bit of contact could break that bumper off, and it could cause a world of hurt for Robbie Mott as well.
Now, through turn number 6, Vincent Clement closing in. So is Miguel Mir. All of them tightening up. And fastest driver on the racetrack, well, it's not any of these leaders. It's Morgan LeBaron. back down in the 11th position. Got knocked wide with the way that opening start went with Neil Faulkner going around. So he's trying to make up some lost time. An eye on James Lundberg as well. He's up 5 spots on the other direction going forward into 7 for the guy who qualified on the pole. There's the beer alert for the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy. He's closing in on, I believe that's Scott Cherry, already gone by Doug Foxworth. So now make it 6 spots gain for James Lundberg up to P6.
Yeah, Lundberg has been super quick all weekend. This is his home track, and he just hasn't been able to get that good luck with them. It's just hasn't really been going his way. So hopefully, he's able to redeem himself this time.
Yeah, it's been 2 times here at the end of the back straightaway. Both heat races going off with brake issues into turn 6, and now here he goes, looking inside. He'll
a little bit of half pass
by on Scott Cherry, looking for that 5th position. Meanwhile, as well, change for 2nd. Miguel Meir has gone by his teammate Vincent Clement.
Looks like they lost a little bit of time. Maybe they battled just a little bit too much. But I don't think it's going to be a problem for them to catch back up to Robbie Mott.
No, they're still on the verge there of the draft. One good lap put together for Miguel Meir, and they're going to get right back up to Mr. Riptech himself as they go to the final corner. This time by 13 minutes remaining here. 5 minutes complete so far to the 18 minutes plus 2 laps main.
And it could get really spicy when Miguel catches up to Robbie Mott. They did have a little bit of contact in that previous heat, and we shall see how that turned out for them.
Yeah, it could get a little bit hairy for sure through turns 4 and 5. Miguel Meir out onto the back straightaway here this time. Robbie Mott down the backstretch, headed over to turn number 6.
Yeah, Miguel went purple that last time. He's driving super hard. I know Miguel is a really hard worker, and he's going to put his body and his kart on the line for anything.
Yeah, so here they go. And look back here. It looks like problems for James Lundberg. He had just gotten by Scott Cherry and now has fallen back behind him again. So Lundberg looked like he got by him and now falls back about 4 car lengths.
And I just keep getting bad luck for James Lundberg. He's always been so fast, but some reason just always catches the bad luck.
Morgan LeBaron made up a couple spots, though, in the previous few laps while we've been looking back down the field. He's up to 8th, just 2 spots back from Lundberg. So it goes Lundberg, then that bright fluorescent comp car to Doug Foxworth, and then end of the frame there on board the Beer Art is going to be Morgan LeBaron. So James Lundberg now tries to rebound here, get back a little bit closer to Scott Cherry, make another run at that top 5, and he's got Shane Burkett just up in front of him, but then it's about 4 seconds to the leader. So at the best right now, you might be seeing him get up to 4th. Here he goes, 5th, inside, trying again on Cherry. Cherry's deep on the brakes on the outside. Lundberg this time, he gets clear.
Now, Cherry just loves to hang around the outside. He likes to muscle his way around, but it just did not work out that time for him.
Well, and I think, too, James Lundberg got on the brakes. It looked like he braked even earlier than Cherry did, so might have been Lundberg being a little more trepidatious on the brake pedal after having brake issues in turn 6 the last 2 race sessions.
For sure. I mean, having brake issues could definitely mess with your mental, You're always thinking about, what if it happens again? What if it happens again? No matter if you fixed it all anyway, that's still going to sit in the back of your mind.
No, it's an awful feeling for sure as they head on out here. Now here comes that next pack. This is going to be led by Ryan Lynch. Up 5 spots for Ryan. Haven't mentioned him a whole lot here this weekend. He's ahead of Anthony Harwin. They are 9th and 10th down in the next 4-car pack down the order. Here's a look at Lundberg hunting down Shane Burkett for 4th. Morgan LeBaron, again, also going forward as we've got some passing back in the field. This looks to be, is that Neil Faulkner getting back on some spots there in turn 6 and 7, or is that Doug? No, that's Doug Foxworth fighting all around with Morgan LeBaron. LeBaron, Cherry, Foxworth all going head-to-head.
Yeah, it's great to see LeBaron fighting his way back up. Had that shaky start, but he's making up spaces. It's obviously fast, so it's good to see from him.
He's getting up some spots. Lundberg working the back bumper of Shane Burkett, and for Miguel Meir, he's just getting a couple hundredths closer to Robbie Mott every single lap. Last time by 300ths better. This time a 10th back in the favor of Robbie Mott. Half a second out in front.
Yeah, there's 2 great drivers, and it's no surprise that they're, almost equal on lap times. You somewhat expect it at this point.
Yeah, you would for sure. Out of turns 4 and 5, Shane Burkett, James Lundberg, 4th and 5th. Here comes a big run for Lundberg to the bumper. Inside, looking. Burkett's going to, I think, wave him on by, let him go there for 4th. And James Lundberg, another spot higher here to recover on the weekend.
Yeah, good job from Burkett for not fighting him too hard. It is a long race and anything can happen. So it's good to just keep yourself on the track and just try to slide in behind and keep racing.
Again, Burkett knows how quick Lundberg was. He saw him qualify on the pole and lead the field to the green in both heat races. So James Lundberg already starting to build a little gap on Burkett. Here's the gap update on the leaders. Robbie Mott out of the final turn, 2 car lengths up on Miguel Mir, and I think they got lap traffic up the road in front of them. That might hurt a little bit. No, they'll get through the lap traffic without a problem. So halfway in, halfway home, plus 2 laps for the 18-minute main event. And as they head onto the back straightaway, Miguel Mir is going to be closer than he's been in quite some time. He was the fastest on the racetrack last lap, 1 car length back to turn 6.
Yeah, we'll see if Miguel's going to waste any time or he's just going to sit behind and wait to the end of the race. But we will see. We know that Miguel's an aggressive driver, so he's going to try to make that pass whenever he sees fit.
Yeah, there they go through turns 8 and 9 over to turn number 10. Robbie Mott, Miguel Mir, single file into 11. 2 car lengths between the pair.
Yeah, it looks like Robbie Mott pulled a little bit out of the exit of that hairpin. You just know Miguel's pushing, though.
Yeah, Mott a little better there on the low speed. Miguel's got a great run into this final hairpin, and then he stays pretty close to him down the front stretch, so he's got some good runs working for him as well in that Cruise Racing Development Lando Norris kart, over the bumps and over the curves into 1, 2, and 3, over to 4 and 5. Again, that lap still a little bit better by Mir, but not by much. Half a tenth to the advantage of the reigning series champion.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left as well. I mean, there's no reason to make any hasty moves or make any late dive bombs. There's nothing really to prove yet. The racing really starts in these last 2 laps of the race.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time to get there here. He's just got to be smart about it. Robbie Mott still 2 karts out in front through turns 8 and 9 here as they round the corner, head over to 10 and 11.
Yeah, these 2 guys are great drivers. It's going to be a really good race fight between them. Hopefully they don't come in contact again. That was unfortunate to see last time, but these guys are going to put on a great show. Battling out mano a mano.
So here we go. Here's a look way back down the order. Big gaps throughout. This is going to be Neil Faulkner making up some time. He gets another spot there. That's going to be on, I believe, Anthony Harwin. So Neil Faulkner getting himself up a position as he tries to climb back into the top 10. So Neil Faulkner's drive forward continues.
Yeah, I mean, Faulkner just, he locked it up big time going into that turn 10 hairpin. It was a little sketchy there. Thought he wasn't going to make it out, but he's doing good so far.
Yeah, making it back up after getting turned in front of the field. That could have been nasty, too, there. Kudos to the KA Masters for all making evasive action. Obviously, a few drivers got burned by it, but he's been able to keep that kart clean, and with 1 spin, he's almost back into the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you see for these Masters guys, they have lots of experience, and, they somewhat have a lot of respect for each other. So that's, they always produce great racing like that.
And good stuff for the reaction times as well for all of them. Can't get knocked for that on old age at all. 2 tenths out front for Robbie Mott, back to Miguel Mir. Here's a little further up the road. That's Doug Foxworth. He's just been passed by Morgan LeBaron. LeBaron up to 6th with more to go as he now locks on to Shane Burkett. About 2 seconds up the road from him, trying to get there with 6.5 minutes remaining, plus 2 laps. There they go onto the front straightaway. LeBaron, P6 from way back with the end of the first lap.
Yeah, great lap again by Miguel Mir. It's just a little bit, maybe 0.03 of a second behind Robbie Mott. They're just going back and forth playing cat and mouse with these lap times.
Yeah, Mir's just got to keep the pressure on. Hope for a mistake here on Robbie Mott, which will be tough, again, for a driver who's got a lot of test laps around this racetrack called SpeedSportz Racing Park home here in Houston. Miguel Mir making his way a little closer out of turn 9 over to 10 and 11 through to 3 car lengths back through the hairpin.
Yeah, no, and it's cool. It's good to see Miguel is doing well now. I mean, after those issues he was having yesterday, I know that his mechanic was put in a lot of good work on that kart, trying to make it fast again. And I'm glad to see that they were able to figure it out.
Yeah, there they go out of the hairpin, through the kink, onto the front stretch. Robbie Mott, 2 car lengths out on Mir, headed to turn 1.
I'm surprised that the draft isn't working too much for Miguel in Miguel's favor right now. It doesn't really look like he's getting that much of an advantage from that.
Yeah, not too much, right? Like he's just kind of gets a good run and then sits there in the wake. Doesn't gain a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe he's just missing just a little bit maybe on power, but you see it made up maybe half a car length to a car length down that back straightaway, but not as much as you'd expect.
Yeah, he gained a good bit. I will say it looked like he got a really good exit, though, to be fair, as well, out of turn 5. So hard to attribute what's draft and what's getting out of the corner a little better. That time popped the curb in turn 8. Not a great exit, but still hanging close to Robbie Mott with 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. What an awesome shot it is. So close to the drivers there going over to turn number 10.
Oh, yeah. Got really tight. Yeah, really close through that hairpin. Looked like Miguel broke really late through there. So maybe possibly could have been a little bit of contact, but not too bad there.
Yeah, not too bad at all as they round the final turn. Here they come down the front straightaway. Miguel Mir, 2 car lengths away from Robbie Mott as they go down to turn 1. This is the battle for the lead and the win. 2 of the heavyweights in the division that have been going at it all season long. In the point standings on the racetrack for the win. And like I said, it's a flip of the previous round at Amarillo when Robbie Mott was trying to hunt down Miguel Mir. Mir, little carburetor adjustment down the backstretch, trying to find, like you were talking about, Riley, a little more horsepower, maybe a little more top speed.
Yeah, I mean, you'll commonly see drivers try to mess with the needles a little bit, mess with that high speed, try to get a little bit more top end. Maybe he feels like he's not getting as much as he should. So, you know, it is interesting to see like these guys making on-the-fly adjustments like that.
Yeah, cool part, of course, especially about the 100cc class, being able to do that. The 206 division, obviously, with the jetting, it's not something you can mess with your hand while you're on the racetrack, but that's an added skill, really, for the guys that can listen to the motor as they're making laps, feel it. And, of course, you get a little bit of a cheat code with the micron data gauges because you have a peak temperature usually you're shooting for, and if you're not hitting that, well, then you turn the needles to get to that temperature as well.
Yeah, I mean, even with the micron, I mean, it might give you so much information, but it can only do so much. I mean, so much is based off of, you know, what you can hear and, you know, what you can feel in your butt from, you know, the power of the engine.
Well, Mir looks about the same, maybe a little better, not a ton, but he's just at that bubble, right? About 2 car lengths to a car length away, not close enough to get to Robbie Mott and to send a move down the inside. And again, we already had contact with them in the heat race of him trying to get by him in turn 6. So I know he's going to want to make sure that if he makes that move, he gets in deep enough to get fully alongside and really mount a proper challenge.
Oh man, I'm excited for these last 2 laps. If it gets a little bit closer than this, I mean, you know, when the sticks come up, the sparks will start flying. You know, these guys are going to start really going at it.
Again, you can tell how much Miguel Mir wants it, right? These guys take this racing very seriously. They are into it, right? And again, for many of them, you know, they're not having nearly as active of a schedule as a kid like Elio Mesa. You know, you got Robbie Mott, you got Miguel Mir, and both of them looking at this championship as the one on their calendar. They're wanting to win. And, you know, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast earlier today about how, depending on how today goes, you're either going to play it out in your head a lot of what you woulda, coulda, shoulda done better for the next 5 to 6 months, or you're going to walk out of here with your head held high. And Miguel Mir, you can see how much he wants this win. He wants to walk away here with a win to end off the season.
Yeah, I mean, you hear that a lot in karting, you know, if, you know, people say, oh man, if this happened, you know, we could have done this, and, you know, vice versa. And, you know, same thing doesn't work that way. You know, there is no ifs, ands, or buts in this.
Yep, it's, there's no almost, there's no maybes. There's either what the result sheet shows or what it doesn't show. And, well, we're going to see it come down to the wire in KA100 Master, presented by Kart Racing Solutions. 1.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go as they head for turn 1.
A little bit closer this time. Looks like Miguel's going to get a little bit better of a draft maybe through that, on that back straightaway. It's down to maybe a car length and a half or 2, so it's getting a little tight now.
Yeah, he's closing in a car length back from Robbie Mott as they head down the backstretch here. Working towards the bumper, half a cart length away to turn 6.
I mean, it's awesome to see that these guys going cat and mouse with the lap times, you know, back and forth. This one pips the other one by 100th, and, you know, vice versa. You know, these guys are just so good and driving so hard, and you know, they both want this win a lot.
And while they're going at it here, Morgan LeBaron is about to crack the top 5. He's closed up to Shane Burkett, just at the edge of the top 5 battle. He's about a cart length away. So while the leaders continue to battle here with 1 minute plus 2 laps to go, they've got again, should be 3 laps to go at the line. They'll just be under the time limit where they could get a 4th one in. So 3 more laps around. It'll run out this time by, I believe, as Morgan LeBaron, bumper looking inside for 5th, gets through on Shane Burkett. Great recovery drive here in this main event for Morgan LeBaron.
Yeah, Mir just needs to get a little bit closer. He's just a little bit too far away to make any kind of move yet. You know, hopefully he'll be able to catch back up.
Here for the 239.
Oh, no.
That's Ryan Lynch, was running inside the top 10. Looks like he's on the outside or inside of turn 7, outside of turn 6. So Ryan Lynch out here with a couple laps to go.
Yeah, that's tough to see from him. He was having a great drive so far. Just tough way to end it like that.
Well, we'll watch. Here's LeBaron starting to pull away from Shane Burkett. That battle is all about set and sorted. We'll go back to the lead here. Miguel Mir and Robbie Mott continue to show the way because that's a great run for Morgan LeBaron. I don't think Shane Burkett's going to get to him, and the timer's elapsed. 2 to go. Here comes the leaders out of the final couple turns.
Well, let's see what Miguel's able to do. The gap's a little too big so far. I mean, I know Miguel's pushing super hard, but he's just got to find that extra little bit to catch up to Robbie. Maybe Robbie will make a mistake. It's all to play for right now.
Yeah, there they go into 4 and 5. Robbie Mott 2 car lengths out on Miguel Mir, still holding that advantage to be exactly what he needs here as they go to turn number 6.
I mean, props to Robbie. He's been so consistent this whole race. I mean, it's been so hard for Miguel to even catch up to him and get to his bumper. And yeah, props to him. He's been driving so well.
Yeah, I feel like Miguel Mir, I think he might be used up a little bit as one car just went by us with a broken exhaust. So more carts falling like flies in the final few laps. But Robbie Mott saved up just a little bit, it looks like. Look how deep Miguel Mir sends it into turn 11. He's trying everything he can to hang on to it and tucks his head down behind the wheel, hopping, hoping for something. Robbie Mott looking to ride off the season here with a win under heavy pressure from the championship rival. I don't know if he'll be able to get enough points to come away with the overall title, but with 1 lap to go here, he can at least get that final checkered flag. 4 car lengths between them here, headed to turns 4 and 5.
Yeah, it's just a shame for Miguel that he's just not enough time and maybe not enough tires to get back up to Robbie. I mean, Robbie's just driven so well, and both these guys drove well so much all season. And yeah, I mean, it's been a great race, great weekend, great season.
Yeah, Robbie's just really kept everything under control. Now he's got 1 more lap to do it, holding the margin right where he needs it, not even taking too many looks back. He knows he's been in command since the drop of the green flag. He's had the pace. Quick little look over the shoulder to make sure that he didn't get any bit closer into 11. Mir, final couple laps, you can see he's tightening the gap up. It's just not going to be enough. Robbie Mott fends off the charge, withstands the pressure, withstands the beating the entire main event here in KA Master. He wins the season finale here in Houston. And so there goes the top 2. Here comes third across the line. Vincent Clement gets a podium. 4th to James Lundberg at home. LeBaron rebounds to the top 5 for Mr. Mustache. Shane Burkett 6th. Doug Foxworth 7th. Scott Cherry 8th across the line. Neil Faulkner rebounds all the way back into the top 10 to 9th ahead of Dex Nakeen after the dust finally settles in KA 100 Master. But again, a great performance here for Robbie Mott to get himself a top step of the podium trophy at the end of the season. He wins here in Houston, and just like that, only 2 main events are left. 206 Junior, presented by Seville Electrics, up next.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Chillian.
Welcome back to SpeedSportz Racing Park as we are deep into the night action here. The night show main events for the Texas Sprint Racing Series season finale. The second of 2 stops here to this place in New Caney, Texas. 5 rounds on the season, and it comes down to this here. 206 Junior wrapped up by Reagan Seville in the Seville Electric sponsored class, so he bowed out on the weekend to focus on his KA Junior efforts. And we've seen a number of different faces at the front, but one kid that's been up front pretty much all weekend is Sawyer Roussel. The Cosmic driver will lead the field off from the pole. To his outside will be Jensen Harrell aboard the Richard Mill Charles Leclerc Kart, I believe. Then to row number 2, it'll be Alfred Alvarez del Castillo and his KRS Tony Kart. Weston Criddle was impressive this afternoon. He got into the mix with a big improvement in his pace to challenge with the leaders. And then you go back to row 3. It'll be Shelby Ramirez, Joseph McCrate, and then Calvin Cooper rounds off the 7-car grid. KA Seniors coming up next. We'll give you some more intel about the KA Seniors during this 206 Junior main event as they get set for action. But here come the 206 Juniors headed out of the final corner, ready to start their 18 minutes plus 2 laps main event to round off the season to set the stage for the KA Senior Division presented by Exertech. On to the front stretch. Here we go. Roussel alongside with Harrell into the tram lanes, looking for the green flag. We'll get it. Green flag in the air and a big jump for Harrell. Roussel doesn't like it, but Jensen Harrell gets the jump to turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, great start by Harrell as well to get ahead of Roussel. You know, it's been really tough to compete with Roussel all weekend. I mean, he's just been on his game. It's been super duper fast. So, you know, well, I'm interested to see if he's going to be able to keep that going in this one.
Down the back straightaway here, side by side back at the end of the group, a single file all the way up into the lead. Jensen Harrell, Sawyer Roussel pushing him into 6th. The top 3 get a little bit of a gap as Del Castillo latches on, and Shelby Ramirez trying to hang on there for 4th as them all over with her, as well as Weston Criddle. So Criddle, I believe, into 4th. Ramirez looking to be into 5th. Into turn 11 on the opening circuit, Jensen Harrell continues to lead. Nice and comfortable gap forming all the way back from 3rd. Surprising to see the gap open up with no passing done at all in the opening lap. Del Castillo's at least 7/10 out back.
It is interesting to see because, you know, the race earlier today was quite close. So, you know, it might be good that Harrell's running out front right now, maybe holding up Roussel a little bit to let everybody else catch back up. But, yeah, I mean, it looks like Alvarez del Castillo is might lose that gap. So we'll see.
Hard to tell. Weston Criddle and Shelby Ramirez were good earlier today as well. As you can see, Ramirez has her nose cone all lit up with the underglow, but did not get a good run on the backstretch. Criddle did. And Roussel going back to look help from Del Castillo. No change, but here's a look. 4th and 5th. Trying to see as Criddle gets in a little bit too hot there to turn 6. A little bit sideways. That'll cost him some more time to the leaders.
I mean, even saw Ramirez even getting on the curb a little bit. I wonder if that was evasive action or maybe she just turned in maybe a little too early there.
Lots of learning, of course, in the 206 Junior class. An easier step up to the regional level as the kids start to work their way towards the front runners of KA 100 Junior and have to go up against national champions like Elio Mesa. As we see Ramirez try the inside, can't fully quite get there on Weston Criddle in turn 11. She'll stay there 5th and 4th, while the leaders single file are starting to build that margin here, coming to put 2 laps in the books.
Yeah, it's not going well for Criddle right now. He doesn't really have that good drafting partner. I mean, we know Shelby Ramirez is quick, but you know, hopefully she's going to be quick enough to even catch those guys in front.
At least here, he's still getting a little bit of the toe off the lead with Jensen Harrell showing the way. Like you said, we expected Roussel to be a little bit quicker, but at the moment he's happy to kind of trail Harrell and push him down the backstretch. As he looks back, sees Del Castillo still there. And Harrell at a 105 flat. Everyone behind him was a little bit quicker in the top 5. Criddle a 104.98. Ramirez was a little bit slower, but she's still hanging on to Criddle's coattails for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Ramirez is coming back from that little, the disappointing Heat 2 earlier today. You know, she went off track and didn't really get to finish very well. So, yeah, she's going to be coming back, and hopefully she'll be able to work with Weston Criddle a little bit to catch those top 3.
Here they go through the hairpin here this time, coming onto the front straight, or the short chute into the turn 13, 14, 15 complex. Jensen Harrell, still your leader over Sawyer Roussel. No changes altogether. We've got the starting lineup coming your way for the Exertech KA100 senior class. Here's a reminder of where the point standings were coming into today as well for KA senior. Alex Stanfield entered the day with a nice and comfortable cushion over the field of 48 points, or of 58 points, I believe, back to Peyton Phillips. Then you go back, add on to look where they line up for the grid. Stanfield first with Aiden Rudolph second and Phillips in third. That's another 10-point gain, or actually maybe 20 for Alex Stanfield on Phillips. Not a ton, but it makes this main event a little bit easier. A top 10, I think, should clinch the points here for Alex Stanfield.
Yeah, I think Stanfield is just really just hoping to finish and finish well. He's always on for the win, but he knows he doesn't have to make any hasty decisions or crazy moves in order to win this championship.
Yeah, again, top 5 for sure would clinch it. I don't know exactly where the points will fall. It'd be around maybe 7th or 8th, maybe 9th. But the thing is the way the drops go in, he's got such a good run through the drops. I don't even know if Phillips got enough points with a win today that he could make up from Stanfield's drop. Stanfield could drop this weekend and still be really good in the points. So I think with the way the drops factor in, it's just about clinched. He hasn't had a single bad weekend. Been first or second at every main this year. So realistically, I think he could lean back on the drop and still healthfully, have not enough points for Phillips to gain on him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad sometimes I'm kind of glad, though, that, the championship doesn't really mean too much to these guys. So they're able to just let it all on the line during this race.
Yeah, that's what I think it should be. Thinking out loud here with a 10th place result, that'd be the Stanfield's worst of the year. So really, he's leaning back on the drop result of a 2nd place, I think, or a 3rd. I think a 2nd and a main, and then a good run in the heats, going back to when we came back here earlier in the year, right? Because he's won at NTK, won at Amarillo, won the opener in New Orleans. So he's looking really good coming into the weekend, whereas Peyton Phillips obviously has to have one bad drop, but more importantly, that leaves only so many points left on the table for him to get. And by Stanfield getting the pre-final or the heat race points maximum, that's points off the table that Phillips cannot snag to make up on the margin. As we go down the front stretch here, once again, Jensen Harrell, 12 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Still your leader. They've pulled away from Weston Criddle, pulled away from Shelby Ramirez. It's just these 3 up front of Roussel, following Harrell, and following Roussel, we've got Del Castillo.
It looks like Roussel made a little bit of a bobble going through 4 and 5, so that didn't look like it really affected him too much. Just hit the curb a little bit, but yeah, it looks like he's got a good run. They're just going to hold place until the end of this race. I mean, still a long ways to go for these guys.
Yeah, they can just ride in line here till that 2 to go signal comes up. So you won't see too much action here for 206 Junior presented by Seville Electric to the checkered flag. Opposite of what we expect to see in that KA senior class with so much carnage that's gone on all year. And again, that 2nd heat race was nothing short of crazy from start to finish. And we've got some big name drivers that'll be starting deep in the field, right? Braden Robertson knocked off the racetrack on the opening lap, rebounded decently. He rolls off down in 7th, behind Logan McDonough and Tyler Stevens on row 3. You look further down, Drew Chappell rolls off down in the 9th spot. Vinny Miskelis, got intel on him, had a tire going flat after contact on lap 4 of the heat race. Finally went fully flat on him, right rear flat. In the final few laps is what dropped him all the way down to 19th.
What a shame for Vinny. He's been fast all weekend. I know he's these last few races, he's just really shown his speed. He's really starting to come into his own. It's great to see, and I hope that I really do hope that Robertson's able to make up some few spots. He's been so fast all weekend, done such a great job. Just things just haven't gone his way. He's been hitting some bad luck, getting into a few situations where he, maybe should not have been. And I really do think that he can make a good ways up at the front. And hopefully if he passes a few guys up in the beginning of the race, he could actually fight for that win and maybe even a podium.
And Adrian Cruz rolls off on the outside of row 2. So much pace for that kid here this weekend. Nothing but no love shown to him in either heat race, getting knocked off the racetrack in both of them. Still putting together solid results to put him on the 2nd row here for the feature. But Adrian Cruz could be a dark horse pick to get a main event win here. He had it sealed up almost at North Texas Kartways earlier this year at his home racetrack, won his side of the heat races, lined up alongside Stanfield in the main, then again, just same thing, got pushed off on the opening start of the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Cruz for a really long time. We raced together at kid karts and cadets, and he's always been a great driver, and he's always going to put his all into it. And, and recently he just seems like, he's going to be there at the right time. He's always been, very opportunistic and, makes the right moves. So, hopefully his speed will show in the final.
Speed's there again, just going to be making the right move. Survival in that KA senior class, really making it through the opening few laps, and even then all the way to the checkered flag. There's a lot of high-speed chess match, right? That it's really all about the chess match moves you make in 206 senior, KA senior. You still got to focus on being fast individually, to get yourself into the fight. And then once you're in the fight, it still has all that same chess match decisions of whether to work together, to go on your own, when to pass, when not to pass, when to block and when not to block. All that factors in, and you got to kind of race everyone a little bit differently because some drivers will be a little more aggressive, some a little bit less, and it all, again, notes you got to take into account. Alex Stanfield will get to lead them all off here for the 30-driver grid later on this evening after this one finishes up here. 9 minutes in, halfway to go. No change up front. Jensen Harrell, Sawyer Roussel, Alfred Alvarez, Del Castillo, 1, 2, 3 as they head down the back.
Now, it looks like Del Castillo's just falling off just a little bit. Maybe he made a little bit of a mistake, but yeah, he does not need to be losing that draft. It could definitely prove to be detrimental for his race.
It could be massive here. So as they go through turn 6, 2 car lengths back for Del Castillo. Not where he'd like to be. He's got the ownership of the fastest lap. He was even to them last time by, but he's got to make sure, again, no mistakes, right? We talked about it all night long. That last driver in the pack has no safety net. If he makes a mistake, he just goes backwards. If Sawyer Roussel makes a mistake, Del Castillo's there to push him. If Jensen Harrell makes a mistake, Roussel pushes him. So when you're the last one in the train, you've got to be perfect. And right now, Del Castillo starting to fade as we get into the second half of this main event. 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go across the line. Jensen Harrell, your leader, 9 laps down.
Yeah, great drive so far for Jensen Harrell. I mean, today he's just really come into his own. You know, he's been super fast, and he's been fighting up front with Roussel, and it's really been great to watch. Good job from him so far.
Yeah, he's been doing a flawless job here aboard that Charles Leclerc Kart at the front of the field. Sawyer Roussel still pushing him, takes a look back, managing the gap, and he's been loyal to him all the way from the first lap. Even was a little bit frustrated with the way the start went, with Harrell getting the jump on him, but hasn't seemed to be too upset about it. He'll still push him here over to turn number 8, and it's paying off. Del Castillo, last time by, was 6/10 away from Roussel. Might be even a little bit further back this time by the stripe.
Yeah, the draft is so powerful. We've just been repeating that all over and over and over tonight, and you just see it now. I mean, he's just Del Castillo lost that draft, and now Roussel and Harrell are just walking away from him.
Well, that's the part of these draft races, right, Raleigh? We got to fill a whole lot of air because, again, we're just kind of calling a lot of the same action that's been going on. No changes on the racetrack, lining up, counting down the minutes, wait until the end. I like to joke again that these races could be cut a little bit short for the leaders just the way they pan out. But then you also have races like when Justin Music comes through the whole KA Junior field. I mean, he would have definitely hoped for a longer race, if anything, much less anything shorter.
For sure. I mean, maybe if he started higher, he could have brought the fight to Elio Mesa. But who knows? You know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. We were talking about that earlier. You know, the track doesn't lie.
Track does not lie. Result sheets do not lie either. When the dust settles and the podium awards are handed out, that's what ultimately matters at the end of the day. Jensen Harrell, Sawyer Roussel putting themselves in a good spot to be there at the drop of the checkered flag. The gap now nearly a second back to Alfred Alvarez Del Castillo, back in that 5th position. No room backwards to back up and get a dancing partner because Weston Criddle and Shelby Ramirez are more than 6 seconds back from the leaders. They are way out to pasture, unfortunately. They will not be in contention for a podium outside of any contact resulting in a wreck or a penalty.
Yeah, it looks like Ramirez tried to set it down the inside of that left-hand kink here before the last corner. Got a little sketchy there. I thought they were gonna make contact, but luckily they made it out unscathed.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything more here out of the leaders, so we'll keep an eye simultaneously on Ramirez versus Criddle for 4th. Calvin Cooper running on his lonesome there in 6th. Joseph McCray on the same wavelength back in 7th. Here's a look at Criddle leading Shelby Ramirez down the back straightaway. Ramirez looking low, turn 6.
Big send.
Trying it, thinking about it. Criddle goes high, and they're side by side. Just hard to gauge where they're at because they're learning the racing line as the weekend goes as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was really weird for us to watch. I mean, we had 2 different angles on that fight. It looked like one of them it looked like there was 2 completely different laps there, but oh wow. Almost a good move from Shelby Ramirez. It's good to see from her.
And a hard hit over the curb exiting turn number 9 on the inside as she was trying to keep the momentum going on Weston Criddle. So Dave, I think, realized they've got no shot at catching the top 3 here in the final bits of this main. So they're just kind of going at it, having some fun battling for the 4th spot. They've got a comfortable gap out back, comfortable gap up front. Not going to get to Del Castillo no matter how good they want to push together. With 5 minutes plus 2 laps left in the season, at this point, have some fun, go out and battle, learn a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they're learning a lot. I mean, this is a great learning experience for them. You know, racecraft is everything. We talk about that all the time, and from not just from this race, but from all races, you know. You know, these guys are constantly learning, you know, and improving on their skills.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Ramirez, bumper, looking this time. Can she get the pass done? She's got to have the confidence to get deep on the brakes, and Criddle just rips the top side and hangs onto the spot into 7, although he runs wide. Ramirez trying to cross him over. Weston Criddle goes wide again out of 9, but this time he holds the spot again.
These 206 guys just love that over-under and that 6 and 7 turn complex. It's crazy to watch.
And you talk about the marbles right on the outside groove. I'm impressed Weston Criddle hasn't broken sideways. I mean, he's running a lane and a half, 2 lanes up in turn 6 when Ramirez shows the nose to the inside. Seems to be glued to the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's great ability to keep the car on track with your tires getting so dirty with all those marbles and the dust from previous races. It really does get tough. It takes maybe a lap to a lap and a half to even clean those tires off.
Again, though, him running there, that's starting to move those marbles out of the way. So he's kind of making a lane for himself by running the top side, kind of like you'd see in dirt racing or oval racing.
Yeah, running that outside line, maybe get a little bit more momentum on the exit.
I mean, that's what's been the momentum, builder for him is, again, here comes Ramirez with the run, looking low, going to think about it. And Criddle this time still a lane up off the bottom, even though with Ramirez not even fully going low.
Yeah, it looks like she likes to just stick her nose in there, try to get him to mess up maybe a little bit. You know, they're just, trying to poke fun at each other and just have fun doing this race. You know, they know they're not going to be able to make up the podium unless something, crazy happens. So, they're just enjoying their race out there.
And that's all it is right now. Here, 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go. 2:06 Junior, presented by Seville Electric, coming down to the final couple stages. The leaders headed over to turn number 1. Here's this battle for 4th again, headed into the final corner. Everyone getting about 5 more laps, more or less, left in the season here. We're expecting about a 19-lap feature. And Sawyer Roussel pushing Jensen Harrell. They've broken nearly 3 seconds away from Alfred Alvarez del Castillo. And down the back, Roussel, inseparable from the back bumper of Jensen Harrell.
Yeah, it's tough for Del Castillo. I mean, he's been showing so much good speed all weekend, and it's just tough that he's just lost that draft from the leaders. And it's just tough luck for him. It's unfortunate.
Just not quite there for him. Like you said, unfortunate for Del Castillo. He was there in the first half of the main, not quite there here as we watch the juniors head on into the hairpin. Oh, Harrell runs wide. Big mistake here late in the going for Jensen Harrell. Roussel cuts him a break, though, lets him get back in the lead.
Yeah, they're just going to keep settled till those 2 sticks come out. I would not expect anything crazy to happen again like that until those 2 laps to go.
Well, and, Riley, I'm not saying that's what that move was, because I don't think the kids have the experience or the thought to be thinking on this level, but we've seen it at certain draft racetracks like Newcastle, for example. We talk about there with the way the finish line is at the end of a long 1,000+ foot straightaway. You see guys kind of blow a hairpin on purpose to get back into second to slingshot on the front stretch because they don't want to leave coming to the checker. I don't think that's what happened here, but here comes Roussel at least. Now this time he'll go to the lead into turn 6.
Yeah, clean move there. I don't think Harrell wants to fight him too much. He wants to still be there and give himself an opportunity to maybe get that pass back.
So out of 6 through 7 to 8 and 9, Jensen Harrell a car length back. Sawyer Roussel, he's got an opportunity to see if he can pull away. He's done all the hard work and the heavy lifting to keep Jensen Harrell away from any other drafting help. Alfred Alvarez del Castillo is too far back to work with Jensen Harrell and push him up to Roussel. So if Roussel can really hit some burner lap times here and pull away from Jensen Harrell, he could put this one comfortably into his hands without having to fight on the final lap. Let's see it. 2 to go here at the line. 2 laps remaining in the 2022 season for 206 Junior.
It looks like Shelby Ramirez got around Weston Criddle. It looks like there's a big gap between them now. I wonder what happened between them.
Hard to tell here, but Shelby Ramirez moving up. Now we stay focused on the lead. She's into 4th. Criddle back to 5th. Del Castillo safely in 3rd. And look at this. Roussel, big lead down the back. Harrell's not close enough. He'll close up a bit to the bumper, but not enough for a dive into 6.
That slipstream is crazy. I mean, he had maybe a 3 or 4 kart length gap to start the straightaway and just sucked right back up to him.
So through 7, turn 8 here. Sawyer Roussel, lap and a half away to putting this weekend on his shoulders to get a win and a big boost of confidence going into 2023. Into the hairpin here for Sawyer Roussel and Jensen Harrell.
Yeah, Roussel's been so good all weekend. He's been at the top of his game. Being at the front in every single heat and in qualifying, has really been his weekend so far. But I think that Jensen Harrell has got something to say about that.
Yeah, he's going to have to really get a good run. Roussel, little slide coming onto the front stretch. That'll bring Jensen Harold to the bumper. White flag. Here he goes. Looking outside. Turn 1. Wheel to wheel for the lead. Jensen Harold rips the top side of the lead in 3.
Great move right there. You don't really see many passes like that going into the S's, but great move by Jensen Harold. Let's see if he'll be able to block a little bit going down the straightaway.
Yeah, he's going to start moving low. Broussel's going to follow him. Looking, waiting, pushing him. Goes high late. Goes deep on the outside. Sawyer Roussel trying to get there. Harold lets off the brake. Gets himself back clear to 7. Great move by Jensen. He holds the spot. Look at Roussel, though, finding a hole into turn 8. He gets through.
Over under.
Oh, man, still wheel to wheel over to 11, but Sawyer Roussel's going to have the spot. What does Jensen Harold do? Does he go deep on the outside as well? Not enough. Sawyer Roussel with the lead. Harold with the crossover move. Tucks back in line. 1 corner to go in the season. Here he goes.
He's going to put his nose in there.
Him side by side into the last corner.
Over under drag race.
Yeah, there he is. But he parked it on the exit. Kept it low. Roussel's got it across the line.
Oh, premature celebration there.
Hang on to it. He barely did. Sawyer Roussel, 8 thousandths of a second keeps Jensen Harold at bay.
That could have been a little embarrassing for Mr. Sawyer Roussel. He was celebrating a little early. I don't think he expected Jensen Harold to be close like that.
I didn't either. I don't know if anyone thought he was going to get that kind of a run in that short little run down the front stretch, but he did. Jensen Harold, 8 thousandths shy of a win here in Houston. Alfred Alvarez Del Castillo, Weston Criddle, Shelby Ramirez, Joseph McCray, Calvin Cooper. So Riley, let's talk about it. Exertech KA100 Senior. The fences are already lined. You got people with lawn chairs.
I'm going to stand up.
Racetrack. Yeah, it's going to get exciting here to call this main event for the final night session of the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series. You know they're going to be going at it again here. Let's cue the music and let's take you through the starting lineup for your K100 Senior Division presented by Exertech. Going all the way back to the back end of the grid here. Caitlin Zahorski start on the inside of row number 13 back in P25. You go up ahead of her, Connor Casey and John Barry, who missed out on all of Friday's action due to school. He's got a little bit fresher tires, but a long way to go for the inside row number 12. Ian Howell and Robert Warren Jr. will be the last row outside the top 20 on row number 11. Then we go up forward here. Massimo Sanchez Lara will start to the outside of row number 10. To his inside, young Gabby Selden, one of the many senior rookies. And here they are, all the KA seniors going to make their way over to the top of the grid. And this drivers meeting, I'm sure, is going to be spearheaded by our race director, John Over. Reese on the weekend, a little come to Papa meeting going on right now.
Oh man, so this is one of the best things about KA racing, senior racing here at Texas Sprint Racing Series, is getting this nice pep talk by Mr. John Over. You love to hear him talk about it.
Yeah, man, they're doing such a great job here this weekend. So proud of all the action they want. He is pointing on the racetrack, saying exactly what he wants from him. And hey, we'll let him get to it and not talk over him too much. But again, the KA seniors, you can see they're ready. Couple jokes cracked, of course, but it's about to get really, really serious for this KA senior field. And they are 25 deep, ready to go after it. What a show they put on for the fans and the field all around. And we're going to get one good shot of everybody before we get the field underway. So KA Senior presented by Exertech. Again, we go back down the rest of the order. Ty Fuller, Josh Campbell will make up row number 9. You go Brooke Berry and Vinny Muskelis on row 8. Vinny Muskelis, of course, had such a good run in the opening heat. Led laps coming from 16th on the grid here tonight. A lot of work to be done. Keno Cadena and Peyton McDonough make up row number 7. Just ahead, then it'll be Ethan Art and Dylan Town on row 6. And then they're top 10. Jake Faulkner aboard the comp car, roll to the outside into 10th. To his inside, Drew Chappell aboard the 972 GWR Giller. You go up to row 4. It'll be J.D. Lamping in the 908. To his inside, Braden Robertson on that Arcane Motorsports CRG. Row 3 as the drivers head to their cars. Logan McDonough in the McDonough Racing OTK to the outside in 6th. To the inside, Tyler Stevens on that High Five Performance Tony Kart. And he'll start right in line behind his fellow High Five teammate of Peyton Phillips, who rolls off 3rd to the inside of row 2 alongside the Cruz Racing Development OTK of Adrian Cruz. And your front row, 2 hot shots here, a rookie and a sophomore on the field. Aiden Rudolph to the outside, and that guy right there, Alex Stanfield, and the white and green Tony Kart on the GWR OTK Good signs of sportsmanship there. Getting good luck from Alan Rudolph and the AR Academy. Burrell art of Aiden Rudolph. His son will start at the outside of the front row. Good friends off the racetrack. They put on a good show through the heats coming through the grid. You can see the underglow on the GWR OTK, and they are set for action here, Riley. Break this one down. You got to make a pick. They can hear you in the paddock. Who do you got for fantasy to take the win on this one?
Man, I really do like Aiden Rudolph a lot. I think he's going to be really fast. I think he has something to prove, and he was faster last weekend. I think he can pull out this one. But honestly, I'm going to choose my dark horse here. I really do like Braden Robertson this weekend. I think he's really got it under him.
I think he's got a lot of speed here. He's obviously been close. He was close in Amarillo. Obviously had that big wreck at the end of the day in heat number 1. Last lit under the lights, going for the win. He's got a lot of speed. He rolls off 7th here. The thing to keep in mind with Braden Robertson, again, him and Peyton Phillips getting together once, then got together in heat number 2 with Phillips kind of getting back into him, knocked him off the racetrack in turn number 5. I think the two of them could get a little bit dicey. I like Peyton Phillips with the pace he's got. He's got a chip on his shoulder here this week, and he wants to prove that championship last year, he's able to back it up. And while the points might be a little bit out of his reach here to back up that title with 2 in a row, he'd want to walk it off with a win. You feel Aiden Rudolph again starting on the front row after such a rough start, leading the field around in qualifying. He's looking for something big. I'm going to go with a dark horse. I would say not too much. I'd like to see Adrian Cruz get up there. I think he could be a great dark horse pick for the win. But overall, it's hard. It's really hard to bet against Alex Stanfield. 3 out of 4 main event wins on the year. He has been stellar. But there you can see it right into the eyes of Adrian Cruz. Behind him, Logan McDonough just kind of been there this week. Been almost at the level to battle with the leaders. Here we go. Suit zipped. Gloves on, engines fired. Alex Stanfield and that team fell in GWR Tony Kart. He's been here before in this position before this year, last year, and now he's on the cusp of getting just in the same place as Elio Mesa. 2 championships in less than 7 days. The U.S. Pro Kart Series title last week and the Texas Sprint Racing Series title here tonight. 10:45 local time. It is coming up, and we are set for action as the outlap gets underway.
Let's get it rolling, baby. I am interested to see what Chuck's going to do. He's starting off P1. He's been super fast from the get-go in both of the heat races, so it'll be really interesting to see how he's going to start here from the front row.
Well, if you haven't already gotten up to the fence line, you need to. The 2 heat races were, if they're in any bit indicative of what we're about to be in for this 18 minutes plus 2 laps main event, you need to find your place along the line. Get yourself a chair, get up in the air, whatever way you can watch this main event for KA100 Senior presented by Exertech, 25 plus. And again, Alex Stanfield, Aiden Rudolph will lead them off. You can see Rudolph warming the tires up just ahead of Tyler Stevens aboard that high-five performance Tony Kart. There's Braden Robertson. What a good weekend in terms of speed. What a not-so-good weekend in terms of results yet. He can turn that around all right now. He starts on the preferred lane, 7th, inside row 4. We've seen how the inside and outside lanes sometimes can be a major advantage or disadvantage, depending which one you're in, where drivers in 5th end up in 3rd, drivers starting 6th end up down to the outside edge of the top 10. So who knows what it'll look like, but everyone's ready. The final race of the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series season is set to go green.
I'm excited.
Left 2 laps. Alex Stanfield, Aiden Rudolph, and the KA Senior Field presented by Exertech are into the tram lines for the final time in 2022. Boys and girls, let's go racing down to turn 1.
A great start by Stanfield. Everybody looks pretty even. It's going to get a little jumbled here down at 3, 4, and 5. Looks like everybody's getting out kind
Give
of
the
unscathed.
advantage to Aiden Rudolph with the lead. Stanfield the 2nd, Cruz into 3rd. Side by side, teammates back behind him. Tyler Stevens gives the spot to Peyton Phillips. Phillips will stuff Cruz down to the inside into 6th, and Robertson will do the same to Tyler Stevens.
Yeah, Cruz and Robertson wasting no time. They know this is a long race, but they know that they can't get too far behind the leaders. It's a big ask for them, but they got the uphill battle for sure.
So Tyler Stevens loses a spot. Adrian Cruz slots back into 4th as Peyton Phillips marches forward. He sees his championship rival Alex Stanfield up the road, as well as Aiden Rudolph here in the fight for 2nd in the points, because Rudolph gets a little more points in that pre-final than Phillips does. Both of them have a pretty bad race on the season, so their drop is going to be way worse than anything probably that they score here tonight. But Aiden Rudolph leads lap 1 across the line down to turns 1 and 2.
And I was talking to Aiden Rudolph here a little bit ago, and he was just saying that he just wants to work with somebody. I'm sure, and I think that Alex is going to be the guy for him. I think there's going to be 1, 2, probably this entire race. So we'll see what Phillips is able to do by himself. Oh, there he goes. I spoke too soon.
Here he comes. Alex Stanfield to the lead into turn number 6. He gets by on Rudolph, and just like that, Peyton Phillips into the mix now. Save the teamwork for working together and sticking to ball sports. It's every man for himself. Alex Stanfield on his way to a championship, trying to close it out with his 4th win of the season.
And look at Phillips is right behind Stanfield. I think he's going to make a move here pretty soon. I would not expect Peyton Phillips to hold back at all.
Yeah, here he goes to the bumper. Turn 13, turn 14, looking inside. Got him. Peyton Phillips up to 2nd early. Here comes Adrian Cruz, Braden Robertson, Tyler Stevens all closing in to make a 6-driver lead pack early on.
Oh, this is great so far. I mean, it was a great pass by Phillips. Kept it nice and clean. Didn't really lose much time in Stanfield, but it's looking good so far.
Yeah, that was a nicely timed pass. Like you said, didn't lose a whole lot of time. They're still getting the toe off of Alex Stanfield. Here's the run down the long back straightaway, and Phillips will close that gap up. My goodness. Deep on the brakes for Peyton Phillips to Alex Stanfield through turn 7.
Yeah, he is digging, man. He wants this win. I mean, this is big for the championship for him. If he wants a chance to beat Alex, he's got to actually beat him on track too.
He's got to beat him. He's got to make sure Alex Stanfield makes this a drop race and finishes outside the top 5 or worse, and just hope that the points kind of add up in his favor. Like I said, I don't know exactly how much he could gain compared to Stanfield's worst race on the year. I think at most it's the deficit. So even then, a tiebreaker would go the way of Stanfield. It may be all for naught as they come across the line here. Alex Stanfield, 2.5 car lengths up on Peyton Phillips. That's nothing. They're all going to tighten up, headed through 3 and 4.
Yeah, great speed as we expected from Stanfield right off the bat. I mean, he's throughout both heat races, he's just been so fast from the get-go. So, I mean, it's going to be good to see him if he can hold it up for the rest of the race.
Yeah, nice little gap for Stanfield. Peyton Phillips trying to close the gap up. He goes in deep to 6. Cruz goes a little wide there with a bobble. Braden Robertson on the outside of him. He'll get clear, but that's going to kind of bottleneck them as Tyler Stevens goes to the outside. Robertson hangs on to 5th here. Cruz still 4th, and Robertson a little frustrated, I'm sure, as Cruz making that mistake cost him time. He wants to send it. He does. Cruz back to 5th. Now back to 6th as Tyler Stevens gets through as well.
Yeah, great move by Robertson, getting past him as soon as he could. He knows the fight is ahead and not behind him. So I'm no surprise they're not really working together in that back 3 pack. But I see what Robertson can do. Hopefully he can catch back up to that lead pack.
And I don't think he was in any rush to get by Adrian Cruz, but Cruz blowing turn 6 is what forced him to have to go by. Seeing a mistake, it's kind of like seeing blood in the water for a shark again. They'd realize that at that point, they've got to go. Now Peyton Phillips, he's going to go here. Big run, looking inside, new leader. Peyton Phillips to the inside in turn 6.
Yeah, big send from Phillips right there. He's been going deep on the brakes this entire race. It's no surprise there.
Aiden Rudolph followed him forward to Alex Stanfield. Stanfield now can kind of cool his tires and see what he can learn from the high-five performance Tony Kart driver. Peyton Phillips might have led the most laps so far this weekend. He definitely did in heat number 1. And is now trying to do the same here in the main event. Just a couple of minutes in as they start to settle into position. The top 3 with a little gap back to Braden Robertson. And they're all going to stack up to the final corner. Stanfield had a look. I think he had one thought maybe about going to the lead there. He thought better of it. He stays behind.
Yeah, smart move by him staying there. That's a tough place to pass. I mean, it has such huge implications on the rest of the lap. If you mess up that corner, your whole front straightaway is just going to be screwed and not good.
Peyton Phillips leading the way. Stanfield behind, looking to go back to the lead into turn 6, trying it. Phillips crowds him down, slots in. Alex Stanfield back.
Oh!
Way caught him by surprise into 7.
No love lost there.
Cavalry, Riley. Everybody's going to catch up with him racing like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really expected anybody to work together, honestly. These guys are best of their craft. This is the premier class of this weekend, and they all want to be that number 1.
Aiden Rudolph giving a big shot there to Stanfield to get through to the lead. Now Rudolph, what does he do here in 2nd? He stays in line, has yet to lead a lap here in the feature, but he's been working his way forward, and here comes Robertson, Tyler Stevens, Adrian Cruz up into the mix. Rudolph looks to Stanfield, says, don't worry, I'm with you. Let's go forward. Let's see if he sticks to that with that little hand signal coming across the line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Alex learned something from his race with Lemke back in Newcastle. Lemke's a really experienced driver, and they worked so well together in that race. So maybe Alex learned a few things from that.
Braden Robertson giving the same hand signal to Peyton Phillips, saying keep focusing forward to give a shot at the win. Off is not going to work with Stanfield.
No.
He goes to the lead. Stanfield back to second. They're going to stack them up here through turn 9.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen between Robertson and Phillips. Is Robertson going to go at him as soon as he can?
I don't even know why these guys signal to each other that they're going to work together.
Yeah, that's all just lies.
They are lying to each other every single time they do it. Aiden Rudolph looking to lead his first lap of the feature. Coming towards the halfway marker here. We're about 7 minutes in. Aiden Rudolph is your leader at home on his home racetrack. His family owned and operated. Rudolph leading the way here in the finale.
Yeah, it's no surprise at all that nobody's working together. I'm really interested to see what Stevens and Robertson are able to do behind. You see Adrian Cruz is back there. Dark horse, as you said. I'm expecting him to be there at the end.
I mean, you got 5 different kart shops, 3 different kart manufacturers represented inside the top 6 grouping here, as Phillips now goes to the inside of Stanfield for second, wheels him. Stanfield side by side with Robertson, hangs on. Robertson stays in 4th, Stanfield back to 3rd. Phillips said, all right, you're not going to go to Aiden? I will. 2 car lengths back to turn number 11.
Yeah, luckily for Chuck, he didn't get pushed off the track. It's a common thing, especially around that turn. You see a lot of people get put off and in the dust of there.
And right here, though, as much as the K senior class gets a lot of flack, this is why these drivers are a level above a lot of those 206 seniors, at least when it comes to the pack racing, because Braden Robertson, Tyler Stevens, Adrian Cruz, they could be killing each other right now for 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're not. They know the moment they do, they run the risk of losing touch with the top 3. Stay in the mix, wait for the leaders for the door to open. If you got an opportunity, take it. Otherwise, ride, stay in the league pack.
Yeah, especially, you gotta understand, like, in this class, something is gonna happen at the end. There's something's gonna happen sometime during the race. So you really just gotta pick your time and be patient with it.
Well, there they go. Aiden Rudolph back to 3rd. Peyton Phillips leads again. Robertson on the bumper of Rudolph there as they exit turn number 9. Does he go in 11? He's got in a window of opportunity.
There he goes.
Here he comes.
Ooh, deep.
And he brings Tyler Stevens with him. And just like that, Aiden Rudolph goes from leading back to 5th.
Yeah, good move from Stevens for following behind Robertson. Definitely what he needed to do.
Rudolph going to go back on Stevens here into the final corner. Stevens hangs it on the outside lane. Side by side for 5th. Not going to happen, and the pack spreads out just a little bit. Adrian Cruz still kind of lurking there in 6th, not really making a whole lot of noise. And up front, Alex Stanfield is hunting down Peyton Phillips for the lead.
Yeah, it's a great battle so far. It looks like Cruz is just biding his time right now, just waiting for his moment. It's a long race. We still got plenty of time to go, barely even halfway.
I'm curious to see here what Braden Robertson does. Is Rudolph again going to work on Stevens? Can't get by. Tyler Stevens, no love to Aiden Rudolph there. He refuses to give that spot up. He's going to run the risk of getting knocked off the racetrack here soon enough. Turn 11, looking inside for 5th, or for 4th. He's got it.
Yeah, good move by him. He's just not wasting any time. He does not want to work with Stevens. He wants to be back in that lead pack. And he saw that they're losing distance to them, especially with all that battling. So, he had to make it stick that one time.
He did. And so Tyler Stevens goes back to 5th. Adrian Cruz still sitting there in 6th. Braden Robertson gets some separation now up front for 3rd. Fastest lap of the group that time was turned by Stanfield, 1/10 of a second better than Peyton Phillips. So he's closing in. I think we're going to see a challenge for the lead here in turn 6 this time. Braden Robertson still 3rd, down the backstretch. Here we go. Stanfield bumper, not going to go just yet. Just comes up a little bit short.
Yeah, just picking his time. He doesn't want to make a super big stint. Like I said earlier, it's early on in the race. He's got plenty of time left. And, Alex and Peyton, they're good drivers. So, they're not going to do anything super crazy.
So, yeah, we're waiting to see them go at it 2 car lengths apart. They've been having quite a few battles here this year. Again, Amarillo came down to the 2 of them at the end, 1 and 2. Peyton Phillips leading here just past the halfway marker. 8 minutes plus 2 laps left in the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series season. He leads them onto the front straightaway once again.
Yeah, it looks like Rudolph is starting to catch up to Robertson a little bit. Maybe they're going to work together, but honestly, I don't even know why I'm even saying that, because we know that they're not going to work together.
No, Rudolph will get there. He'll go. He goes quickest for his personal best. Vinny Miskelis heads up here for the Barry Racing Red Speed driver. He just set the best lap of the session back in 9th. He's got a little ways to go to the leaders. Ethan Orange, Drew Chappell running with him. They're inside the top 10, but they're about 4 seconds back from this group of 6 up front as Rudolph has caught up to Robertson. Stanfield still riding behind Phillips, waiting to go by him. When does Rudolph go on Robertson? Aiden Rudolph might have the pace to get back to the lead, but he's got to be smart with how he deals with the CRG of Braden Robertson. Not going to go in 11. He's going to take his time to him.
I mean, Robertson's got to understand, too, that Rudolph is really fast. Maybe he might pass him, but if he's able to stick behind him after he passes him, he could actually follow Rudolph back to the leaders.
Rudolph, I thought, might have been able to stuff him there in the last corner. He didn't. I think we'll see it maybe in turn 6 this time. So down the front straightaway, 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Rudolph and Robertson even to Phillips, lose a little time to Stanfield. Stanfield might be going soon, too, so we might have a simultaneous pass. Aiden Rudolph. Big run. Stanfield, big run. Looking, not going to go, I don't think. Rudolph back behind him. Does he go for third? He does not either. Braden Robertson still hangs on through turn 7.
I think they're just staying patient right now. I think they both know that they're fast. I think Robertson and Rudolph both know that there's something's going to pop off ahead of them, so they're really just biding their time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're 8/10 back from the rear bumper of Alex Stanfield, so they could get there if one pass happens for the lead. And I think Stanfield knows that too. I think that's why he's just kind of waiting behind Peyton Phillips. At this point, he can let Phillips be the one to punch a hole in the air and set the pace. He can just ride in the draft and go a little bit easier in the corners, save some tire heat, and really when he gets by, might be able to drive away.
Yeah, I mean, one of Stanfield's goals might just be applying pressure to Phillips. Maybe forcing Phillips into a mistake and using his tires, just like you were saying. You never know.
Yeah, again, like we talk about here, they're running the whole set all weekend. The tire degradation isn't massive, but just the difference in tire heat for a couple laps, that's pretty big. So you can see Stanfield, I mean, he's just not even really pushing him, just kind of riding there, sitting there in the draft, not doing anything to harm anything. Now, that said, Braden Robertson did knock a 10th.5 off to the lead that time, so he is making headway. Rudolph is seeing that. As long as he's able to use him to go forward, I think Aiden Rudolph will ride behind Braden Robertson. They've kind of settled their differences for now, at least between each other on the racetrack for this session. So they'll, stay lined up to try and hunt down the top 2.
Yeah, it's great right now.
Never mind.
There he goes.
There he goes. Inside. Turn 14. Robertson crosses him over, goes back by.
Not a great pass from Rudolph. Maybe a little too opportunistic there. They were making great headway through that in that pack, but they just lost a little bit more time. That was really just unnecessary.
Yeah, unfortunate. So that stacks him up there for third. Robertson says, "Come on, man. What were we doing? We were catching them. We were making up ground. Why'd you do that?" Let's see if Rudolph's going to go on him again. He does not this time. The leaders still clean up front. There's the group for third. And look at Adrian Cruz. It's go time for Cruz. He goes by on Tyler Stevens for 5th.
Yeah, Cruz is purple right now, so his cart's coming in too. I mean, I'm expecting to see him enter that fight with Rudolph and Robertson as well. Not counting him out at all.
He's got to get going. Tyler Stevens says, "Don't worry about me, man. Let's get back up to him. If you want to go ahead, go for it, but you better be quick." Braden Robertson, Aiden Rudolph, a second back from the leaders right now. Alex Stanfield, Peyton Phillips still showing the way with 4 minutes plus 2 laps left in the season. Here comes Phillips across the line. There's your group of 6.
And it looks like Chuck's just losing a little bit of time on Phillips through the infield and catches him up really well down the straightaway. So that is interesting. We'll see how that plays out the rest of the race.
Again, it's a dangerous game Alex Stanfield's playing right now. He's betting on himself. If he thought that Phillips was faster, he'd pass him and then just keep passing him to keep him behind him. But Stanfield obviously believes he's got pace better than Peyton, so he's willing to wait right now behind him, and then he'll go for it late in the going. 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go as they exit turn 9. Braden Robertson once again on the charge with Rudolph, closing into the top 2.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really out of this fight yet. I mean, that whole top 6 group, I think any of one of those guys could get a win in this race, And that something's going to pop off with Stanfield and Phillips up front, and so I think these guys are just waiting on it, really.
Yeah, and again, Robertson's making headway here. This time by, I think he's cut another 10th or 2 off the gap. It is a 55.6 for Peyton Phillips, a 55.4 for Braden Robertson, 2/10 better. And this time, they'll start to get a little bit of draft off the rear bumper of Alex Stanfield. And Adrian Cruz is on the way. Tyler Stevens just hit his personal best. There's another carburetor adjustment for Alex Stanfield down the backstretch, trying to find a little more speed of where he wants it. Like you said, he looks good in the infield, not so good on top end. That's something he's trying to keep a note of here for late in the going.
Yeah, I think Alex is going to start to get the hurry up. He sees that Robertson's following closely behind him. They keep getting closer and closer. So I think Chuck's going to get a little antsy here. He has to get past Phillips if he wants to stay in this race.
Yeah, at that point here, Peyton Phillips, look at that. He's doubled the gap back to Stanfield. 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Peyton Phillips driving the race of his life right now to close out the season with a win. It'd be his first on the year. and it's been what an up and down year for him, really. So close to the checkered flag so many times.
Oh yeah, he's a great driver. He's always fast, so he's just been hitting some really tough luck so far this season.
Yeah, just being shut out from victory lane, I'm sure hasn't been fun for the reigning series champ, but Stanfield really good in the S's there. Has a run on him. Knows Robertson's coming. Here he looks. Got him. Alex Stanfield back to the lead.
That was close.
And now he's going to start blocking because we're a minute and a half away from the checkered, and we're 6 drivers together again.
Wow, this is exactly what we were hoping for this whole weekend. I wanted to watch the race like this, and it's so exciting. I wish I was out there.
What an awesome battle we got. Stanfield takes him low. He starts blocking to keep it behind. Phillips knows it as well. Where does Phillips find a way by? It's going to come in a place where he doesn't expect it. Maybe turn 13.
Oh, wow, what a move.
Peyton Phillips.
What a move.
And Stanfield's wide, and they're 3 wide.
Oh, it's not good.
Peyton Phillips gets away. Now it's on the shoulders of rookie Braden Robertson, trying to hunt down the reigning series champion with a 4-car length gap to close.
Yeah, Robertson's going to need a bit of draft there. He's going to need that straightaway speed to catch up to Phillips. Phillips is so good down the straightaway, so we'll see how much that draft impacts that.
Braden Robertson, your dark horse pick here, as Stanfield is blocking for his life. I think he's feeling like he's down on power. Here comes Tyler Stevens trying to challenge. Aiden Rudolph was the big loser there. He's back to 6th. 50 seconds plus 2 laps to go in the season, and the series points leader, potential champion Alex Stanfield, is under heavy fire for 3rd. Into 11, down the inside, Tyler Stevens looking for a first podium on the year.
And we know Robertson and Phillips came together in that first heat yesterday, so I wonder how that's going to play out now. I wonder if there are any hard feelings, so we will see.
Adrian Cruz for 4th. He'll get by Stanfield. Rudolph's going to follow. Rudolph wants to get Cruz as well. Side by side, he'll lose a spot because of it. And 3 laps to go. Adrian Cruz to P4. Back up front, Braden Robertson's there. He's gotten to the rear bumper of Peyton Phillips. Down the back straightaway. Like you said, it's a repeat of Friday night. Heat 1, they crashed for the win, and they both were taken out.
He should have made that move. He should have made that move. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Again, Phillips wasn't blocking yet. He definitely will be next time by, because the 2 to go signal will be coming out. They've got only about a half second back to Tyler Stevens. He's never won before. He'd be looking for a big time win. Cruz as well, looking for his first KA senior win in the Texas Sprint Racing Series. As we go to the final couple turns, Peyton Phillips, a car length ahead. The reigning champ, again, not able to defend his title, but he's trying to get max points. And Alex Stanfield having his worst race of the year. He's faded back to 6th. So it all could go to the way of the number 1 plate holder, or it could go the way of the series rookie, one of the standouts in Braden Robertson. What a great year he's put together thus far. Down the backstretch, a lap and a half to go.
He's got to put the move on him. He's got to do it.
Phillips to the bottom, Robertson up high, Robertson deep on the outside. Not able to get it done. Now goes the crossovers. They're battling for 3rd as well. Cruz trying to get by on Stevens. Can't do it. Stevens holds on to 3rd.
Robertson to P1. Oh my God, what a move.
What a crossover. Wow. Braden Robertson to the lead. He'll block low into 11.
Oh man, he's been so fast all weekend. I'm so glad he's been able to prove it. Let's hope nothing crazy happens.
Here comes
my gosh.
On the outside lane to the final 2 corners. White flag this time. Phillips back to the point.
Yeah, Robertson's going to look to get that exit to the drag race down the front straightaway.
Oh, no.
Hopefully no contact there.
Here comes Adrian Cruz. He's gotten to 3rd. He's looking for his first win on the year as well.
Oh, man, Robertson should have kept him side by side going through the S's.
I don't know about that here. He's got an opportunity still if they push him down the back straightaway. Who's going to work with who? 5 drivers in the lead group on the last lap. Down to the bottom for Phillips. Robertson follows. Cruz follows. Is a bump and run coming? Right now, Phillips holds the lead.
Ooh.
Look at Cruz on the inside of Robertson for 2nd. He gave the lead. And that is going to open the door for Aiden Rudolph to get by, and Peyton Phillips with a gift of a century as Adrian Cruz tried to get to 2nd. Side by side. Here comes Rudolph on the outside lane of Stanfield. Stanfield gets 4th, but Peyton Phillips, the reigning series champ, shut out from victory lane, was so close to the top spot all year, and the bad luck finally is gone. Peyton Phillips and the High Five team win in Houston.
A great weekend for Peyton Phillips. He definitely deserves that win.
Adrian Cruz there, he was doing what he thought he needed to do to get himself in a spot to fight on the final lap. Robertson wouldn't give it up. It was a little bit too late for Cruz to get to the lead. and he ends up, unfortunately, just coming up shy of being able to fight for that final position, coming to the checkered flag. Peyton Phillips wins here in SpeedSportz. Man, what a way to cap off the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series season. Riley obviously heard a little bit of the disappointment in your voice when he made that move for second, because obviously that's what opened the door to give Phillips the big-time gap on the field.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to make – I didn't want to see that move as a spectator, you know. I mean, Cruz knew what was going to happen. He knew that Robertson was going to make a move at some point and something was going to pop off, and maybe just a little too early for Cruz. But honestly, Cruz did a great job this weekend. He great race as well. I mean, he definitely deserves that P3 for sure.
Either way, again, another barn burner from this KA senior class presented by Exertech. You see why they saved this for the end of the day. And here's a look at the scale line. At the end of it all, at the end of the season, lots of handshakes there, and that was a well-needed end of the year for the KA seniors. I mean, they've had some rough races this year with all the young rookies, all the veterans in the class kind of clashing of egos and confidence up front. But in that main event right there, that was hard racing to the absolute limit, and still all clean for the top 6. So, hey, that come to Jesus meeting with John Over, that must have worked.
I think so. Talked a little bit of sense into him, man.
It did something, man. It was an awesome, awesome way to cap off our season. And that does it for the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series. We are all wrapped up. For Riley Cann, for myself, Xander Clements, Brittany Lobaugh, the entire TSRS crew, Alan and Jessica Rudolph here for the SpeedSportz Racing Park awesome team. It's late here in Houston. It's even later on the East Coast for all of our viewers around the world. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch all of our coverage here this weekend. Don't forget, tomorrow, the Driving for Dyslexia Pro-Am in less than 12 hours gets underway with the live broadcast, or right around 12 hours, from Whiteland Raceway Park, a legendary racetrack in Indiana. So live stream coverage kicks off again tomorrow afternoon. But for the Texas Sprint Racing Series, congratulations to Peyton Phillips. Unofficially, we believe, congratulations to Alex Stanfield on the title, and a great way to end the evening. We'll see you guys next time.